Well, I don't know how Gypsy does this. Like you just start one bit and the next, it's almost like the next day is closing ceremony and so much knowledge has been impacted. Really thankful to God for this opportunity. Okay, good afternoon to all our mentees. Good afternoon to all our mentors. Good afternoon to the management team of the JIIPCC Mentorship and Internship Program. My name is Gaslav Kamaloni, and I'll be your moderator for today's closing ceremony. I know that we've had an impeccable time with JIIPCC. If it's not impeccable, if it's not a learning process, if it's not instructive, it's the amazing things about JIIPCC. So I want to say a big welcome to every mentee, every mentor on the call today. Today is usually very emotional because we're saying, not goodbye, but welcome to the JIIPCC family officially. Yes, now translating from just mentees to alumni of JIIPCC. So to all mentees, welcome. You've had an amazing run, and I hope that you've had some serious training time to learn, unlearn, get some good network, and get some level of connection with the mentors. So for today's closing ceremony, please, I would love to employ that all mentees, we turn on our cameras. It's closing ceremony, it's not class. So please, we try to turn on our cameras for today so that we get to see our faces, appreciate our beauty, and see our smiles coming on. Amazing job, amazing job. Hello, Eden Udo. I hope I got that correctly. Amazing. Good day to Babajide Adams. Hello to Oluwaseun Badmus. Oh, keynote speaker is already around and looking so beautiful this afternoon. Good afternoon. I see Prof is on the call already. Hello, Prof. Welcome, sir. To my boss at the top, Mr. Gabriel Udo. Welcome, sir. Good afternoon. His smile is always contagious. Hello, Mr. Williams Danis. Hello, Onyige. Hello to me, and I see Daniel. God, I forgot this correctly. Ibukule on the call. I see Chijoku Chinenge. The list goes on and on. His JIIPCC is a network of family and is going to be so broad. Welcome to everyone to today's closing ceremony. I hope that it's a final. One thing I would say I like about closing ceremonies is the fact that at the beginning of the course we have a general meeting point, but then we kind of drift into our separate classes. Closing ceremonies help me to appreciate this entire program so much more because you get to see so much people, so much mentors to know, wow, the program just transcends our own class alone to the entire JIIPCC program. So welcome to everyone. In a few minutes, can we just say hello and hi to each other? We can turn our mics to just say hello and hi. Welcome everyone again.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. It's good to see you.
You too.
Hello, Goslow. Thanks for moderating.
Hello, everyone. Good to be here.
Hello, everyone.
Amazing. Wow. It's a full house today and we're here for it. Okay, so give a few announcements before we go straight on into hearing from our keynote, from our mentees as well. Announcements to what you'll be saying. Note speaker mentees, please, we request you to just raise your hands when you're willing to say something so that we can randomly call on us to speak. Okay, so I'll give a few announcements about JIIPCC and we'll go right in note speaker. So about an internship program is a quarterly program. We have menteed over 400 mentees across Africa from 2021 to date. In this quarter, we run 7 mentorship programs: intellectual property, artificial intelligence and technology, fintech, health tech and law, data privacy and protection, entertainment, business and law, the energy industry. We seek to allow mentees the opportunity to access valuable advice, training, network, mentorship, internship, discussion forums, industry updates, and resource materials from experienced mentors. The program also seeks to encourage continuous training, development, and evolution in Africa and the world, and around the world, rather, sorry. You can watch our videos by searching for JIIPCC on YouTube and Facebook, hashtag JIIPCC So what are the objectives of the program? A, to provide mentees into mentors and leaders for the next generation, to facilitate further mentorship, internship, scholarships, and job placements for the mentees. You can agree with me that in the past few weeks, these objectives have been achieved by the JIIPCC program. I was once a JIIPCC mentee for about 3 different courses. And one thing I would say is I have grown. I saw serious growth in my life. A huge thank you to JIIPCC for the opportunity. I always say that JIIPCC is showing the next level of future leaders, the next generation of future leaders, the next generation of professionals and experienced people, because we have phenomenal mentors who are willing and able to give so much knowledge to the mentees. One more time, thank you so much to JIIPCC for this initiative. Okay, this announcement will be going to the students or the mentees rather who partook in the session on data privacy and policy. If you want to have more discussions with Mr. Solomon Okedara, please, you should kindly reach out to Mr. Hussein before the 23rd of August, 2023. If you're interested in learning directly from Mr. Solomon Okedara, kindly send a message to Mr. Hussein before the 23rd of August, 2023. For the mentees who partook in data privacy and protection course, please, if you're interested in learning directly from Mr. Solomon Okedara, kindly send a message to Mr. Hussein before the 23rd of August, 2023. Thank you so much. So as we progress in today's closing ceremony, any announcements that will be coming up will be given up to you. Okay, so quickly we're moving to the beautiful keynote speaker for today. It's none other than the beautiful Oluwaseun Badmus. So I'll read your profile quickly and then we have our keynote speaker. Oluwaseun Badmus is a marketing communications specialist with a decade experience in brand management, strategic communication, and new product development. She graduated from Lagos State University with a bachelor's degree in English education. She has developed and launched various cool go-to-market campaigns for multiple brands, including Technomobile, Infinix Mobility, and ITEL. Oluwaseun is passionate about women's development, as she believes that women have the ability to transform societies and inspire new generations of achievers through their own achievements. She is also passionate about leadership and helps to get more opportunities in the future, where she can bring her unique skill sets to help drive value in various organizations across the world. In order to upskill herself and improve her business knowledge and leadership capacity, She's currently pursuing her MBA at the University of Maryland's Smith School of Business, where she's looking to leverage insights being shared by the school's famed faculty and connect with the wide network of accomplished professionals in the school to improve her world view and skill sets. She hopes to become a more well-rounded professional at the end of the program with outstanding business, leadership, and advanced marketing skills. Ladies and gentlemen, please, with a resounding welcome, let's welcome our keynote speaker for today, the beautiful Oluwaseun Badmus. The floor is yours, ma. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for the introduction. Good morning, guys. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining from. I hope we're all doing very well today. Okay, so it's an absolute pleasure to be here with all of you today for us to talk about the power of influence, personal branding in your professional journey. We know that in this dynamic world where opportunities and connections are just a click away, your personal brand is your unique fingerprint. So it's how you present yourself to the world, showcasing your skills, your values, and what makes you exceptional. And we know that just like a well-crafted logo leaves an impression, your personal brand also leaves a mark in those you meet, both at the workplace, your personal endeavors, and even with just your family and your friends. So think of your personal brand as a bridge between your aspirations and your accomplishments. It's a narrative that conveys your strength, your passions, and what you bring to the table. It's not just about what you do, but it's about the impact that you create and the legacy you leave behind. So this sums up what we're going to be talking about today, personal brand. I'm going to be just sharing experiences of how I've also been able to build my personal brand through my career journey. If it's okay, I'm going to share my screen with you. So please just give me a minute. Hey, just can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we're talking about personal branding today. That's the responsibility I've been given to you. I know that you guys have been in a 7-week internship. 7-week internship.
Everybody
What did you say? Did someone say something?
Oh, no, sorry. I think that must have been something with the audio. You can carry on, please.
Okay, all right. So I want to make this very interactive. Can someone just tell me what you understand by personal branding? Hello, anyone?
Hello, mentees. Let's do the gypsy way.
Just tell me what you understand in your own language. No wrong answers.
Hello, can anybody hear me? Hello?
Yes, please, can hear you.
I think personal branding is how you present yourself. It's the way you talk, the things you do, everything you do to point people towards your personality, and then the influence your personality has on your career.
Can we all mute, please? The noises from the background is distracting. Falakemi, I can see that you raised your hand. Thank you, Oshunuga, right? If I got that correct. Thank you. Falakemi, can we hear you?
Oh, yes. Good morning. Personal branding is like how you create an identity for yourself as be it an individual or a business, and how you showcase yourself, showcase your worth, showcase your talent to the world.
Okay, thank you very much. Maybe sure we don't have any other. Okay. You both have said exactly what personal branding is. It's your unique identity. It's how do you want people to perceive you? How do you want people to, when people think about you, what do they say about you? What do they define you as? That's the summary of what personal branding is all about. And what I have here is personal branding is how you present yourself to the world. It's your unique story, your values, your expertise. Just like a company's brand, your personal brand helps you stand out in a competitive landscape. So even at work, for your professional journey, you have to constantly ask yourself, how do I want people to be able to see me? What separates me? What gives me that uniqueness? What makes me different from every other person? Because we're in a world where, we have a lot of people doing practically almost the same thing, especially in your professional settings. In the office, you have people trying to, make a difference. You have people trying to what you call high service. At the end of the day, what is that one thing that, separates you? What's that one thing that distinguishes you from every other person in terms of your work, in terms of your delivery? So as a person in my professional journey, I've always asked myself that question, that at the office, how do I want my bosses to see me? How do I want my colleagues to see me? What do I want them to, how do I want to show up at the end of the day? So you have to be able to consciously carry that thought. You have to be able to write the things down that, would separate you and what you want to be remembered for. Because at the end of the day, you don't want people you don't want to be in a position where you're not, reliable. So take, for instance, at work, when they're looking for someone to get the job done, are you somebody that they can think of? Are you somebody that they can rely on? Can your bosses or your colleagues come to you to say, you know what, I want you to be able to do this for me because you have been able to build, a personal brand for yourself. And that has always helped me in my career, in the sense that when you're probably looking for a job, and somebody, they ask, you're looking for a job, and then somebody has the opportunity to be able to help, give a job to you. For instance, I have people within my network who will reach out and say, you know what, Shaun, we need somebody to be able to fill in this role as a digital marketing person, or we need to be able to fill this role as a project management person. Can you please refer someone to us? At the end of the day, the people that I have worked with, or the people that, I have had some sort of influence over, or had influence over me, those are the people that come to mind, because they've been able to distinguish themselves. I've been able to see the quality of the work that they can do. At the end of the day, I can identify those people. I can say that, because this person has been able to, I can say that this person is good and this person has an expertise in this area. So it's easy for me to remember such type of people, and it's easy to be able to refer those people to friends who have reached out to say, you know what, we need people in this area. So at the end of the day, rather than just following what everybody is doing, you have to be able to define, who am I? What do I want to do? So imagine having a network that is genuinely interested in your work and expertise. Personal branding boosts your credibility. It makes the people more likely to trust and engage with you. You don't want people to have an impression about you of someone who doesn't get the job done, of somebody who doesn't know what he or she is doing, where he or she is at, or where you're even going. As an individual, you want to be able to define those things for yourself. Who am I? What am I doing? What do I want to be recognized? When people think about me professionally, what comes to mind? There's a strong individual that we all know, Donald Trump, that has been able to build a personal, brand for himself. I know that a lot of us like him, a lot of us don't like him. And I don't want to say some things that are, not right here, but we can't take that from Donald Trump. He's somebody that's been able to build a personal brand for himself. And how was he able to do that? I remember when I used to watch some of his shows. He used to do this reality show called Celebrity Apprentice. That's how I even first got to know Donald Trump. And, watching that show, I could see how he was coming from the position of expertise, expertise in the real estate business, expertise as a businessman, somebody who has been able to carve a niche for himself, somebody who has been able to, through the successes in his business, has been able to reaffirm that he's an expert in the things that he's doing. So no wonder when he started to come into politics, because of that credibility that he has built for himself, that identity as a successful businessman, it wasn't so difficult for him, to come into politics and, winning the elections and all of that. Yes, he has some very extreme views that are very offensive, but also you cannot take that away from him. It's just also, you have Elon Musk as well. You think of Elon Musk, you think of technology. You think of Elon Musk, you think of innovation, because these are people who have been able to build an identity for themselves, people who are innovative, people who have been able to carve a niche for themselves. So you want to begin to ask yourself questions, in your professional journey. Who am I? What do I want to be known for? What is my identity? And those are the things, your values are the things that begin to shape, all of these things. And an exercise that I have done that has helped me has been one classic formula which I have employed as an individual in brand, which is a brand statement that follows this template. I help dash do dash. So I put an example here. I'm dedicated to crafting compelling brand narratives that resonate with audiences, driving impactful connections and fostering brand loyalty. Through creative strategies and innovative campaigns, I help companies stand out in today's competitive market and create lasting impressions that drive growth and success. Now, this is just an example. I have a whole lot of personal brand statements that I have crafted for myself over the years. So every time that I join an organization, even while just putting in my application before joining an organization, I always make it a point of duty to craft a brand statement for myself, because I do not just want to join an organization for joining's sake. At the end of the day, you're asking yourself, what are you passionate about? Do you want to just follow the crowd? A lot of people join offices, join organizations just because they want to make money, just because they need something to do. At the end of the day, you need to be able to ask yourself, what are you living for? Why are you even working in the first place? Yes, I know money is good. We all want to earn money. But at the end of the day, if you want to stand out professionally, you have to have a brand statement, a personal brand statement. Nobody's going to craft it for you. You have to craft it by yourself. You have to know what you want to achieve at the end of the day. You want to be able to have an identity. You want people to be able to say, oh, Seun is that girl that can get the job done. You want to be able to be the first go-to person when senior leadership within your organization is looking for somebody to do something. And I'll give you an instance, a story of, what happened to me in my organization. So because I have always been in a position where, for me, it has always been about getting the job done and just following my own personal brand statement, always wanting to make a mark, always wanting to leave an impactful results in terms of whatever, I'm being given to do. And also I have a scripture that I usually use, that I live by, which says, hear that a man diligent in his work, he should stand before kings and not mere men. So first of all, that's my spiritual identity when it comes to my professional journey. So no matter what I'm being given, no matter where I find myself, I always live and abide by that scripture. See that a man diligent in his work, he should stand before kings and not mere men. For me, what does that mean? It just means that if I invest so much time and I give it my all in terms of whatever responsibilities I'm being given, my gift will open doors for me to stand before kings. My gift will open doors for me to give me that promotion that I so desire. My gift would open doors for me to say, you know what, when there's somebody that I want to refer for certain positions, because of the things that I have done, because of how I have been able to, distinguish myself, and because of how I have been able to give back in terms of just being passionate about the job and doing the right thing, and the identity that I've been able to build for myself, I'm always top of the mind, at the office. So going back to the story I wanted to share, just an example. There was a time we were working on a project, and they needed somebody to manage a brand ambassador, a very big artist here in Nigeria, one of the leading artists here in Nigeria. And I remember everybody, trying to pitch for that role, saying that, what if I'm able to handle this is what I would do, blah, 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 and all of that. Now, because I remember I had a conversation with my boss where he called me and he asked me and said, Badmus, what do you want to achieve while working in this organization? It was a question that took me by surprise, But what helped me was because as an individual, as somebody who has always been very intentional about every step of the way in my career journey, I've always been very intentional about everything that I do. When I start working, I put down, my personal brand statements. You would see on my wall, if you come to my room, I have some of my friends, when you come to my bathroom, when I'm having my bath, you see the things that I want to achieve. Once I'm joining an organization, take for instance, as soon as I joined Techno, I had a list of things that I wanted to achieve, by the time I'm done working for that company and I want to move to some other company. That's just, some bullet points of some personal brand statement of how I want to be remembered, how I want to stand out, So going back to the story, that question just taking me by surprise. I was able to say something because I wasn't waiting for that moment. I'd already prepared for moments like that, by the things that I did personally in terms of how I've been able to structure, my personal brand statement and the things where I see myself in 3 years from now, where I see myself in 5 years from now. And I'm hoping that, a lot of you through this program, through the mentors that you have met with, the things that you have learned, I'm hoping that a lot of you have your 3-year plan, you have your 1-year plan, you have your 5-year plan. It doesn't have to be something that is, that is extensive or something that is, it could just be a statement to say that, what, at the end of this year, I want to be able to have learned so. And so I want to be able to have, have a certification. I want to be able to have, this is how I want to be impactful in the business space or in the career space or in the office space where I am. Always have that and always go back to review, what your goals are. So he asked, and I told him what I wanted to achieve and all of that. And then he went ahead to say some things about his observations from, working with people. And he's a Chinese guy. He was a Chinese guy at the time. My boss was a Chinese guy. And then he went ahead to say some of the things that he has observed, with the people that he was working with, people who have high services, people just do things just because they want to be recognized at that point in time, not because they were watching out for the good of the company. And he felt like my work ethics, stood out to him, and he wanted me to handle the project. And I asked him, I said, "Sir, are you sure you want me to handle this project?" Because I was still pretty much new then. And he said, yes, because he trusts me. He has seen the work that I have done so far, and for me, that was just very exciting. That was very fulfilling, for somebody to have been able to know that this is who you are within a short period of time. And I went ahead to, handle that project. I remember we had our shoot outside of Nigeria. My transportation, logistics, everything was covered. There were a lot of side talks in my office. People were upset. Who does she think she is? She just came in. She hasn't even joined in less than a year. She's already traveling out of the country and all of that. What am I trying to say? At the end of the day, it's, who are you? What makes you unique? How are you standing out in terms of, doing your job? When you feel like nobody's watching, do you abide by some certain values? Are you compromising or not compromising? So at the end of the day, these are the things that you have to be able to do for yourself. And, when you are able to write down these things, put down these things, subconsciously, you just walk with it, you just run with it, and people would see it. People cannot just miss it. I have another example here. I'm on a mission to weave captivating stories that bring brands to life by infusing creativity into every strategy. I aim to not only capture attention, but also forge genuine connections with audiences. My passion lies in shaping unique brand identities that not only resonate, but also leave an indelible mark, ensuring that every company I work with thrives and leaves a legacy in the hearts of its customers. I remember that recently during our networking class, and we were talking about networking, the power of networking, the influence of networking. That's another entire topic on its own. And the professor asked and said, what has been the most fulfilling thing that you've ever gotten from networking? And I reflected on it, and it occurred to me that for every job that I have always gotten, I have never applied for those jobs. It has always been as a result of networking, and always been as a result of who I am in terms of how I have been able to build a personal brand for myself. So if you ask my friends in my career, if you ask my friends in my professional network, and they ask, oh, who is Sheun Badmus? I can say that they can be able to tell that, oh, Sean is very consistent in terms of, getting the job done, very consistent in terms of quality delivery, very consistent in terms of give her a job and just go to sleep and be sure that she will get it done. I'm sure if you ask my bosses, the bosses that I've worked with also in the past, if you ask them those questions as well, I'm sure those are things that, they will be able to say. And these things don't just happen by chance. Like I said earlier, you have to be very intentional about it. You have to ask yourself, how do you want to stand out? What are the things that define me? You have to actually write it down. Another thing that I've also observed in my journey is a lot of us have aspirations. A lot of us have goals. A lot of us have, we wish for a lot of things, but we don't write these things down. We don't put them down. And because of that, we tend to forget. We're humans. You would probably forget some of these things. You probably fall by the wayside in terms of there are times you probably want to compromise on some of these things, which would also lead to some things that I will say, in my following slides, because people don't just buy what you do, they buy why you do it. There are times where I've had people say, why do you have to work this much? So why do you have to go the extra mile to just do some certain things? It's just because you're passionate about it. It's just because you know that you have a personal brand statement that, that drives you. You have something that drives you. So if you don't have these things written down, you have to have them written down. Write them down, paste them around your walls in your house. Let it be on your phone. My screensaver sometimes are things that I want to remind myself with every day, because there are just so many distractions, around us, not even given this digital social age that we're in right now. There's Instagram, there's TikTok, there's Snapchat. There are times that there was one time I just discovered that I was spending so much time on Instagram and I wasn't doing the things that, is expected of me to do in terms of reading my books, in terms of just, trying to learn something online, in terms of spending quality time in things that, would make me a better person as an individual, make me a better person as, someone in my career and all of that. You just find out that you're spending so much time on social media. And so you need these things to always remind you, personal statements, bullet points, just put them around your house. I have them, even as I'm speaking to you, I have them, just around my house, just reminding myself that this is the person that I want to be. This is the person that I want to be identified as, even in the workplace. So when you do these things, they constantly remind you, of who you are. They constantly remind you. And it also encourages you when you make mistakes, because you will make mistakes, people would have a different perspective or a different opinion about you. But trust me, it doesn't matter. When you have your personal brand statement, when you've been able to build a personal brand for yourself, you know who you are, you know what you are. Those things no longer matter to you because you know the things that are already shaping you and all of that. So you can be great at everything. You just must be great at something and better than next person. So building a personal brand for yourself, you have to ensure that, what do I want to be known as, within the workspace? After today, I think I would encourage you guys to, write something down. In my office, what do I want to be remembered for? Or just in my career journey, what I want to be remembered for, and then invest time in that. For me, early on, I wanted to be a strategist. I wanted to be a brand strategist. I wanted to be someone who, you need to promote your brand. You need to create brand awareness or whatever you want to do for your brand. I'm that go-to girl. Call me and I'll give you ideas. And what did I do to be able to build that personal brand for myself? I always ensured that, whenever such type of conversations come up or whenever such help is needed, within the office space, I'm always there to be able to contribute something. And you can't contribute from an empty vessel. And that's where learning comes into play. As a person, are you learning? How are you learning? How are you, making yourself better than your colleagues sitting close to you at the office? Because trust me, everybody has some sort of knowledge, but something just has to make you stand out, So if you're not learning and you're not growing, trust me, then there's nothing that would make you, separate from that next person. Currently in my MBA program right now in class, MBA program is very tough. And, MBA program, it contributes of people who come from, various business backgrounds, people who are well-learned, people who have experiences in their field, and where you're putting all those people in one class. And at the end of the day, you're asking yourself, how do I make myself, really different from every other person? How do I stand out, in the midst of all of this intelligent and, smart people? And that's where learning comes into play. So guess what? I've taken a lot of classes in my MBA, my first year MBA course program. So there's some courses that I wasn't very learned in terms of, I don't have a finance background, I don't have an accounting background. And then professors will come to class and then they will do some maths, they'll do some calculations and all of that. And then, they're asking questions. More than 50% of the class is talking and all of that. And then it came to marketing. It came to marketing class. And I said, you know what? Everybody in this class will know that there's a marketing person in this class. And guess what they did? Even the professors, whenever they had a question, Badmus, what do you think? You understand? And that's because, I identified where my strength is, which has to do with marketing. But mind you, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't, have some sort of knowledge in other areas. No, because you want to be able to contribute, however little in other areas. So that's when learning comes into play. Aside being building expertise for, what you want to be recognized as your identity. If you want to be a project manager, you want to be a product manager, you want to be an IT professional, you want to be an entrepreneur. Aside identifying those areas, you have to keep learning. You have to keep saying, oh, what distinguishes you from the next person? What makes you unique? How are you able to present yourself in such a way that it looks like you're better, you have something better to offer, so that's where learning comes into play. Learning never stops. You have to keep learning, you have to keep growing. And guess what? It was my time to shine, and I that is what I did throughout that that class. And guess what? And because I also have been able to identify what my personal brand is in terms of in my career space, when it comes to any marketing activities, when it comes to any brand management activities, or it comes to project management activities, Badmus is your go-to girl, within the MBA program. Badmus is your go-to girl within the MBA class, and that's because I've been able to build an identity for myself, and not just also build an identity. I've been able to prove myself in terms of, oh, what can you do? What can you deliver in terms of what are the results and all of that? Can people learn from you? Yes. And, marketing I always tell people, everybody has something to say about marketing. It's almost like everybody knows what marketing is, which is the truth, because everything around us is marketing, you understand? But what makes you, what is that extra touch that you have that makes you stand out, in your personal identity, in your personal brand, building that for yourself, within the space that you find yourself. So those are the things that you need to do, be able to define who you are. What is your uniqueness? What are you doing to, to be better? What are you doing to not just be great at something, but also be better than the next person? I'm gonna go to the next slide. Okay. And so one way to also, be able to build your personal brand is to be authentic. Your personal brand shouldn't be a personnel. It's not an invention. It should be authentically you. When you're building a customer personnel for target markets, you say Badmus, she is 15 to 35 years of age. She's tech savvy. She likes the very stylish things of life, blah, blah. That's building a brand personnel, which is just like a general overview. But when it comes to your personal brand, what makes you authentically you? Authenticity is the cornerstone of personal branding. At the end of the day, you have to be able to create a clear and compelling message that reflects your true self, your strength, your passion, and your values. Those are the three summary of building a personal brand. What is your strength? What makes you better than the other person? What is it that only you can be able to do better than the next person? It is very, very hard, but that's where learning and training comes into play. You have to constantly keep learning. You have to constantly be an expert in that field. Otherwise, you will be pushed to the side. Otherwise, people will not be able to identify you with anything. You will not have an identity. So you have to ask yourself, what makes you authentic? What makes you you? What makes you different? Is it your hard work? Is it the fact that you can show up whenever they ask you to show up? Is it the fact that you get things on time? Is it the fact that when you're given a job to do, you're able to do that job, you're able to get it done at the right time? Take, for instance, I'm just going to be using my MBA program, as an example. So in class, everybody came with their own strength. At some point, if you're not even sure about yourself, if you're running an MBA program, you can even, get to a point where it's almost like you have low self-esteem. So, but if you know who you are, you know what your strengths are, then nobody can be able to come and, intimidate you. So every time we have a project to do or an assignment that we're being given in class, they pair us up in groups. And at the end of the project, all the team members are being asked to evaluate every team member that participated in the project. And there was one particular case that we worked on as a team for one of our classes. And everybody was given the evaluation form: evaluate your peer, evaluate your team member. And something stood out to me. Each person had something to say that was unique to everybody. Femi ensures that she shows up on time for meetings, and she would take whatever we have done in terms of the presentation slides that we have put together. She would take it and she would review it even after everybody has contributed. Pratibha is somebody who would reach out to everyone to remind everybody, oh, please do not forget that we have a meeting, and do not forget your deliverables. Anuja is somebody that would, define everybody's responsibilities, roles and responsibilities. So at the end of the day, what is expected of you isn't clashing with other people's responsibility, and everybody can respect that, oh, Badmus was given this to do, Anuja was given this to do, Pratibha was given this to do, Femi was given this to do. And it stood out to me because if you have not been able to show your personal identity in terms of, you've not been able to show up in terms of and let people know what you're good at, then there was one particular person, it was just like they were just writing something vague. Nobody had something specific to say about this person. And that was because the person wasn't always available. The person wasn't always there to contribute, even in class. Like, we didn't know so much about this person. And I felt like it's a very bad position to be in, because you don't want to be in a position where people cannot say that, oh, Badmus can, this is who Badmus is. And you can be rest assured that if you give her this, she will be able to, get it done. You don't want to be in that position, not even at the workplace, when they're probably sharing responsibilities, roles and responsibilities, or maybe they're trying to refer somebody for a higher position, and nobody can be able to say, oh, this is what her strengths are, and they feel like, they can show up. You don't want a situation where people can't even, they don't have anything to define you with, or they don't even have, she just does her job, he just does what he's given, he's not good at this, or he's not good at that. You want people to be able to say that, within whatever career field or industry you're in, you're a master in that field. You want people to be able to say that, behind your back, even when you're not there, people to be able to say that, oh, I trust that this person can do this. And that's because you've been able to build some, sort of personal identity for yourself within the workspace. You want people to know who you are, what you're capable of doing, and and all of that. That was a very it was just reinforcing for me as a person that, oh, okay, going forward, within this MBA program and this MBA journey, even when after my MBA program, within the workspace, at the end of the day, how do you want people to see you? There's a mentor that inspires me a lot within the brand management and marketing space. Her name is Bozoma St. John. And I was having a conversation with someone. We're talking about, the perspective that people usually have about us at work and all of that. And, we're just talking about in general. And that conversation led to, me getting to know this person, Bozoma St. John. I'm sure maybe some of us know her. She's very popular on Instagram. And I started to read her background and, find out what made her popular. And guess what? She has a personal identity, a personal brand identity that is just within the space of marketing, is just within the space of branding. And I started to ask myself, how was she able to do this in such a way that whenever a company is looking for someone within the marketing space, she's probably the first person that they would, think of for very senior positions and all of that. And I started to watch some of her TED Talk videos that she has done, some YouTube videos that she has done. And, some things stood out to me in terms of how do you do the job? How do you get your job done? I think she said she started as a receptionist and all of that. And she started to, she started as a receptionist for Pepsi at that point in time. I can't remember how she started, but some of the things that stood out to me was she said she just felt like she was that person that people didn't know her, people didn't recognize her, people didn't put a name to her and all of that. And she kept asking herself, how can I stand out? What would make me, different? How can I build a personal brand identity for myself? And she said she started to take in more work. She started to research, started to learn, so that when they are probably having some certain conversations, she can contribute, and that's how it started for her. When she has something to contribute, and people are like, oh, how did you know about this? And that's because she's been doing some, learnings for her. So that's how she's entered into the brand world. And she started, building herself within the marketing space and all of that. So if I think of somebody who's doing so well in the marketing space, she's probably one of the first persons that come to mind. And that's because she's been able to build an identity for herself. If you think of somebody within the tech entrepreneurial space, I'm sure you also have somebody that comes to mind, at the end of the day. It just shows how people have been able to, build that brand identity for themselves. So that's, just having that consciousness and, working towards it, taking steps, towards it, just helps you be able to, give you a clear perspective and, be able to build these things for yourself. I'm just going to try to rush through my slides. And then the next thing, decide what you want to be known for. I know I've touched on this, just by leveraging your special gifts, you will be more likely to stand out from the crowd. Your personal brand should be an accurate reflection of your passion, your skill, your values, and your beliefs. Don't let people define you, within the career space. I have had a lot of instances, within my career space where you're in a meeting and something happens and somebody wants to push the blame to you, and, you're correcting it immediately. You're being firm about it that, no, this wasn't me, because you know who you are, that you have done your job and you can tell in terms of the results that you have done in the past, you have results to show for it. I learned something a while back ago, having a brag sheet. In terms of your brag sheet is, what are your achievements, within the workspace in terms of, these are the deliverables, the deliverables that you have been given, and you have met those deliverables, and you have results to show for it. So you're in a meeting and you're having conversations, and then somebody's probably just saying, that's how you give her something to do and she doesn't do her job well. Always learn to correct impressions like that, immediately. Or somebody gives you something and they give you something today and then they want it to be done tomorrow, and that for you to be able to do quality job, it will take 3 or 4 days. Be able to speak out, be able to speak up, because when you take things that are outside of your capacity to do, or when you take things that somebody is almost like you're trying to make up the mistakes that somebody has made, and at the end of the day it's going to rub off on you. So you have to be able to not let people define you. You have to be able to speak up. You have to be able to correct those impressions immediately. Be firm about it. You're not going to be rude about it. You're just saying, this is who I am. This is what I can do. So you don't want people's mistakes, you don't want people's excesses to come and rub off on your work, to impact, such identity that you have been able to build for yourself. So within the workspace, you have to be able to, define who you want to be. Don't let people define you. Don't let people say certain things about you. There are times where people will just even say certain things. That's how they just say things that are not, they probably will even say jokingly. For me, at work, you can't come and say some certain things to me jokingly. I would correct you immediately. Even as you're saying it jokingly, I'm also correcting you jokingly, because at the end of the day, you just find out that those bad impressions rub off on you and you're no longer reliable. People don't even trust you to deliver on a job. People don't trust you to do the right thing because somebody has said something or somebody has used their mistakes and their excesses to rub off on you. So always learn to correct impressions immediately. Don't let people define who you are. Don't let people, out of their own excesses and mistakes come and define, certain things that are not meant to be identified with you, and like the saying goes, if you don't stand for something, you stand for anything. So you must, building your brand, your personal brand identity, you must be able to stand for, certain things, in terms of what your values are, in terms of not compromising. I'll just give an example. When I started working with an organization, I was practically the only girl within the team. The other team members were guys. And, it would be time for brainstorming sessions. And when all the guys are giving their ideas, and then when it comes to me giving my ideas, sometimes they want to water down my ideas. And I'm like, no, let's go back to that idea. You have to give me reasons why you feel this idea shouldn't work, and then the next thing, they're probably saying other things that has no business with what we came into that room for in the first place. Fine girl, what are you doing after work? And I'm like, no, don't have such conversations with me. I would not tolerate it. Or sometimes they come, they want to touch you on your shoulders. You don't want to be identified with such type of things. From the get-go, you want to let people know who you are, what you stand for. And guess what? They were having someone came to me, I'm like, now, wow, Sean, what did you do to this person? And they were having a conversation like, Sean will come now, she'll come hang out with us, and fine girl. These are like, no, don't say that about Sean. Sean likes her job, she does her job well and all of that, It was good that somebody could say that while I wasn't there. And that's because I've been able to define who I want to be. I've been able to let people know who I am, what my values are, what I stand for, being able to build, a personal brand identity for myself, not letting people, see me in some certain way. Rather, I've been able to position myself in a way that people can see how I want to be seen. Somebody who has sense, somebody who is intelligent, somebody who has something to offer, somebody who has something to bring to the table, not just beyond the looks and all of that. So those are the things that you want to be able to do for yourself. Don't let people, define you. And then define your audience. One of the worst mistakes you can make as you build a personal brand is attempting to appeal to everyone. That's why it's so crucial to define your niche. At the end of the day, everybody can be your friend, especially within the career space, within the office. Not everybody can be your friends. Something I have learned recently is to be able to define who your relationships are within the workspace. And defining your relationships, you can categorize them into 3 different relationships: strategic relationships, personal relationships, your professional and your operational relationships. Now, the reason why you're doing this for your personal brand is because when you are out of job, for instance, or you want to switch job, for instance, because you already understand who your strategic network are, or you already understand who your professional or operational networks are, who these people are, and you have been able to position yourself in such a way that they know who you are, they know what you can do, they know what you can deliver. Now, take for instance, you're out of job or you want to switch job. You are usually the first person that comes to mind, for them to refer. And that's how I have been able to receive help myself.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, please.
Okay, please, due to time, please, we need to kindly round off soon. Thank you.
I'll wrap up now. Yeah.
Okay.
So when you've been able to build these things for yourself, that's how people will remember you for certain things, for certain positions. Which brings me to the next thing: audit your network. Network provides leaders with 7 network capabilities: strategic perspective, it gives you influence, makes you innovative, collaboration, it gives you force, it helps you have force multiplication, resilience, personal development. In truth, high-performing leaders typically have a core network with no more than 18 connections. So building your personal brand for yourself, you have to know who fits into these different categories for yourself. I just have the picture you see as an example of my network map. The people who are my strategic connections, the people who are my personal connections, the people who are my operational connections. It just gives me a perspective of how do these people see me? What is my brand identity within this different network? And then at the end of the day, by the time you've been able to do this, always learn to show up. Your presence is powerful. Learn to show up because you know who you are, you know what your capabilities are, you know what makes you unique. Learn to show up. Do not be timid. Do not let anybody do not let anybody affect your confidence. Just learn to show up, because it's now time, you know who you are, you've identified what your identity is. It's now time for you to be able to show people, what your what's your personal brand identity is. So you need to identify these three things in all that I have said: your uniqueness, your values, your contributions. And at the end of the day, the key benefit of having a personal brand is for professional growth. It leads to career advancement and networking opportunities. And then you just, as a leader, within your professional journey, it gives you having the perspective of being a thought leadership. It establishes you and as an expert in your field. And at the end of the day, never do anything that hurts your reputation. Never do anything that hurts your personal brand, because you know what you stand for, because you know who you are. Do not ever compromise on any of those things. And what I want to leave with you today that I expect of you, your next step should be your value exploration. List down your core values. What beliefs are most important to you? Is it showing up on time at work? Is it ensuring that you get the job on time when given a responsibility to do? What are your strengths and your skills? I'm sure a lot of us already know what our strengths and skills are. So identify it. How do you then want to be better at your strengths and your skills? And then your passion, what topics or activities excite you the most? Continue to build and grow within that aspect. And at the end of the day, remember, successful and unsuccessful people have same goals. You never rise to the level of your goals. You always fall to the level of your habits. Goals are just dream. Habits make them a reality. So make it a habit to always refine what your personal identity is. Live with that consciousness. Be intentional about who you are. Be intentional about how you want to be seen within the workspace. Do not let anyone define you. And that will be all from me. Thank you.
Oh, my word. Wow. Wow. Thank you so much. That was truly phenomenal. Like, we could all agree that this could take for a full course of its own. This is amazing. I believe after this session, after the entire closing ceremony today, I want to go back to YouTube and just go through this class or this keynote speech over and over again. That was a full-packed one. Thank you so much. Mentees, I can strongly believe that we've learned a whole lot from that amazing keynote speech. And please, ma'am, I want to heartfeltly make this plea that you make your slide available to our mentees, please. Would that be possible?
Yeah, sure. I will make it available. You're frozen. Your screen is frozen.
Can we hear Goslow? I think he has.
Thank you so much. Thank you, because that was how to handle presentations of this so much. Okay, that's a very wonderful. For the closing ceremony today, please. I believe mentees have been told already. We're having 3 minutes each, but we'll see how to bring that down to be so much as that. In that time, you have to tell us your name, what you're doing at the moment. Are you a student? Are you a practitioner? As well as what would you be doing? What do you plan to do with the knowledge you've learned from the JIIPCC program? So we're opening that up in no time. Yes, indeed. Hello, my wonderful mentor is also here. Ms. Shukurat is here. Ms. Shukurat, rather. Thank you. That was indeed a masterclass. Okay, a big shout out to all our mentors on the call. In no time, we're hearing from them. Thank you so much for being here already with us. A big shout out again to the prof on the call, Mr. Gabriel, the wonderful IP goddess, beautiful Shukura. Thank you for being here. We also have some mentors on the call. I would just identify them and acknowledge them. So mentees, please, we would like to request that you signify by raising your hands. I'll pick randomly. You can turn, please, our cameras are off. Do you mind turning that on? It's our time to just, let's see our faces. It's closing ceremony. Please, let's turn our cameras, please. Thank you so much. mentees, once you're ready, just signify with a raise of hand. We want to hear your testimonial. Let's know your name, what you're doing. Are you a student? Are you a practitioner? And what do you plan on doing with the knowledge you've learned from JIIPCC? I am going to call randomly. So, okay, I'm waiting. I'm looking for hands. Is someone waiting for the first to go? Okay, while I'm waiting for the hands to come on, I'll start with a name that resonates a whole lot with me. Hello, Eden Udor. Of course, I was going to come to you first.
Hello.
So if you mind telling us your name. Good afternoon. You look so pretty.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
My name is Ijunuko Udo. I'm a 200 level law student of the University of York. And the training that I was a part of was the energy industry. So I came into this with zero knowledge of the industry. And at the end of the program, I have gained a lot of insights into what the energy industry is like, both nationally and internationally. So after this, I plan to explore more the industry and maybe look at possible career paths in the energy industry. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Wow, so apt, so straight to the point. Okay, I'm looking for more mentees. Thank you so much. And I heard University of Uyo, that's actually my alma mater. So it's really amazing seeing someone from the prestigious University of Uyo on the call. Mr. Gabriel is smiling. I won't say anything.
Yeah, Mr. Gabriel is smiling.
He's smiling. Yes, he was my senior colleague back at the University of Uyo.
Once I hear University
Yeah,
of
it's smiling.
Yeah, it's really amazing. I was privileged to have met him back then in the university, and I'll come back to you, sir. You know me, I'll come back to you. Okay, I'm looking for more mentees. Mentees, please signify by raising your hands if you're willing to tell us some more. I believe I should be seeing more hands already. I should be seeing hands already. Okay, I have Hamed Aro Gundade. I hope I got that correctly. Hamed, please carry on.
Okay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ahmed.
Yeah, my name is Ahmed Akin Arugundade. I'm an electrical power engineer. So for the mentorship program, I engage in the energy industry, and quite fortunate for me, most of the topic dealt with were something that I've related with in time past. But the very particular aspect is the law aspect. Because as much as you said there is energy, there is power, so there is this law that binds everything to work together. Okay, recently, the federal government has just declared IPP project that, okay, states, they can actually generate power, which has not been over the years. So doing such, there will be some legal binding. So, and it makes me understand that, okay, even though you say you are an expert in this, you should know what and what to do, especially because all those power plants are sited in some community. So there should be of law and regulation that keep everything working. So the law aspect of the mentorship was indeed thrilling and engaging. And all our mentors has been so wonderful. They are indeed experts in the field. So it's an awful experience for me. So that's it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's really a pleasure when I hear people talk about the law aspect. Please, oh my God, I've been looking at her and her beauty is so blinding. I'm so sorry. Our mentor as well here with the beautiful hair. Hello, Marianne Hassan. Nice to have you on the call this afternoon. Gosh, she's so beautiful. I don't know, Gypsy, our mentees are always so handsome and so beautiful and very intelligent. It's really phenomenal. I like saying that. Welcome. Nice having you. Thank you for being here with us. Okay, I want to move to another mentee. Hello, Chicho Kichinoye. The floor is yours, please.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is
Afternoon.
JIIPCC, and I am currently a 400 level law student at Ebonyi State University. Well, for the mentorship program, I actually took 3 courses. I didn't take just one. I took 3 courses. I was part of the intellectual property course, the fintech law and data privacy and protection class, and it was quite stressful, but it was really exciting, and I gained a lot from it because I've been trying to know what area of law I would specialize in. So I really had a special interest in the IP because I took it as an elective in my school previously. So it was wonderful. I met a lot of people and I learned a lot, really. So thank you, Gypsy. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay, I think someone is breaking my record. Mr. Hussein, I'm coming back for 3 classes this time again. What do you think? That was heartbreaking to hear. That was amazing. I can resonate with this.
How did she, I was just asking myself that how did she survive?
How did she cope? Sincerely. When I did 2, I was almost crying.
Quarter, 3 courses, like.
Okay, Chichoke, I think I'll come back to you to ask this question. How did you go through that? I did 2 my first time, and it was not easy. The good thing was I had amazing people in my class or my course who were family. We had this great bond, so we're able to just come together. And Gypsy does not make it easy. You have articles to write, you have presentations to do, you have PowerPoint. So are you a superwoman? How did you achieve that? I think you're muted. Okay.
I'm not. I just happened to have planned it properly, and the program fell into my holiday period, so it was just perfect for me. And although I used to have 2 of my classes on Friday, like they were consecutively placed 2 hours before each other. So on Fridays in the evening time, it used to be really stressful for me. Then 1 on Saturday, so I could balance it. So it worked out well.
Okay. I think I'm inspired again. So Hussein, how is next quarter looking? Okay.
You can try 3 courses next quarter.
I'll do 4. If I faint, it's on Gypsy.
You will not faint.
Okay, so I'll take one more mentee and okay. I'll take one more mentee and then I'll call our mentors to give us some words of advice. And Chika, how are you doing?
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Hello, Obonda Chikanomezi.
Good afternoon, Chika.
I'm currently a legal practitioner. So I was looking for courses that would teach me on data protection and data privacy. And I happened to come across the JIIPCC course just right on time because most of the other courses were outrageously expensive. And I just needed something to give me a start. I needed something to nudge me in the right direction. And over the past 7 weeks, I think JIIPCC successfully did that. A special shout out to Mr. Solomon Okedara. He really, really did his best. And then Mr. Hussein and the other moderators, everybody was amazing. It was a very wonderful experience. I think from here onwards, I would still be looking to get a certification in privacy, and I think I'm going to make a career out of it because obviously litigation is not for me. I've done it these past few months and I don't want to do it anymore. So thank you very much.
Okay. Chika, I can see, I really understand. I remember when I also went non-litigation. I think it's just finding your passion and holding on to it. As the course goes on, I'll show you a gift I got from one of our mentors when I was also in the data privacy and protection class. Okay, so at this point, we want to hear from our mentors. Thank you so much for being phenomenal. JIIPCC has some of the best mentors in the world when it comes to the courses we offer, and I'm really, really impressed and I'm humbled to have sat through these mentors. They are simply amazing. Okay, I want to start off with a man who I call the grandfather, the godfather of IP. When you hear him talk in the IP space, it's just mind-blowing and hits you off the park. The guru himself, Professor Samuel, good afternoon, sir. Please, I want to hear from you your farewell message to the mentees. Nice to have you on the call, sir.
Yeah, yeah. It is my floor now.
Sir, yes, sir.
Can you? Okay,
thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. I mean, I love JIIPC. You know, you should know me very well. The future of IP in Nigeria and the global South. Yeah, it's my focus because I believe that we are far behind, and it's about time we caught up with the rest of the world. And I've been blessed to be out there and coming from Nigeria. Maybe a lot of you don't know. I am in the 89 class of, then we used to call it Unicross, UNIO now. We were part of the foundation class of the Faculty of Law. So we started the Faculty of Law a long time ago. And I'm glad for what's going on in UNIO now. So, yeah, it's been interesting, and I'm always encouraged when I'm here because I learn a lot. I mean, a lot of you don't know. I take down notes because you guys blow my mind. It's a juice for me because when I hear this generation so hungry for this new area of IP, especially in the digital age, which I told someone the other day based on my research that IP is going to control 85% of the industrial space in the next 5 years. It might be faster than that because wherever you look at now, wherever you look at the space now, every economic world is tied to IP. And you know, IP is so vast. At the last count, IP has been broken down into almost 20-something classes of subjects, and more are coming out because of, you know, the world is trying to specialize. We're breaking it down: food, fashion, plant variety. And what I'm doing now, we're working on something that's going to be published hopefully in 2-3 years. We're looking at our own traditional IP, the indigenous traditional people's IP, which will help them very, very much. A lot of people have not known about them yet in the way we are coming. Hopefully we can publish it quickly. So it's very interesting. I'll just talk a little bit of AI because that is the thing now, that is bubbling. I gave a talk, I think 2 weeks ago when I was in vacation in the States. And I want us, I'm not going to give any lecture. I'm just going to, I want us to please zero in on AI. So I want Nigerian IP scholars to be at the forefront in this global South, because it's 2 days ago, the United States District Court for Columbia, which is the #1 IP court in America, apart from the 9th Circuit, came down with a very unique judgment. I'm probably going to post I have the judgment. In America, we have the judgment the same day. The whole transcript, the memorandum. The Dr. Tyler's case has now been decided fully. My friend Ryan Abbott, who is in the forefront of that movement, wants to appeal. But the court has now affirmed that AI cannot be an author based on the current copyright regime. And if you know the TRIPS Treaty, the WIPO Treaty, the major treaties, the Berne Convention, copyright, patent, we talk about patent Paris Convention, but the IP itself is only human beings that can be an author, or it's only human beings when we talk about patent, invention, it's only human beings that can invent. So it's only human beings that can create. Only human beings. You remember I talked about the monkey selfie case. So now the US court has affirmatively said that's going to be the first. They're going to go up probably to the Supreme Court if they certify it. But so almost all the major courts in the world, UK, Australia, European Union as a whole, and the circle has been kind of rounded. So now there is no doubt that AI on its own, the machine, the system itself, cannot be an author. It has to be a human being. But I know, because it's, for me, that's my opinion, which I've written about, it's all about ideology and economics. So they will keep on fighting. What I mean, they keep on the movement. The people who want to change the jurisprudence will keep on fighting, just like they fought and extended the term limit from 50 to 70. Sonny Bono, if you are familiar with the case, the Disney case, the owners of Disney, they were in the forefront of those who extended the time, because when Mickey Mouse was almost going into the public domain, Disney, with all the power they had to lobby the old world, and we changed that. Now Nigeria is also 70 years. A few African countries are still on 50 years. Saudi Arabia, where I live, is 50 years. They're going to change it to 70. So why am I saying you should focus? You should focus on it because we shouldn't be left behind. Wherever they are going, you should be ahead of them. I say them because I think to be a little bit sympathetic to my people, because I'm from Africa, because I know how much we are losing. So because we should be also ahead of the curve, so that whatever systems they want to change, I believe that this generation should be the one to drive that jurisprudence, especially driving a jurisprudence that will favor our culture, our economics, and our lifestyle. So if they want to change the law to make machines own copyright, what does that mean? AI to own, AI, a machine, to be the owner of copyright, to be the author. That means that you will see that a lot of billionaires will set up companies and they will run us over. So what am I saying? So apart from the legal, the policy and the legal, we should also start, Udo, who is a tech guy, is here. You guys should start investing in the LLMs, the generative AIs, the assistive AIs. You should invest in the technology itself. We should start owning the company, not just talk law. We should mix law with policy and entrepreneurship. So that, because it's all about money. IP is all about money. Don't let nobody bamboozle you with all these utilitarian and it's always good, but the bottom line is going to be money, and we have to use what we have to make use, leverage, and monetize our talent. Excuse my language, the bad papers and discussions I've gotten from the generation here makes me glad, and makes me glad that IP is in good hands in Nigeria. Thank you. And wherever you need me, I know I'm all over the place, but I always create rooms for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. Spoken like a true father. We're so encouraged by that. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for always answering the call from JIIPCC to be here. Okay, yes, I'm seeing mentees are putting up their hands. Before we listen to our next mentor, I want to do my favorite part of the JIIPCC course, is picture time, ladies and gentlemen. And guess what is the final picture for this quarter? So please turn on your cameras for one last time. For pictures though. And let's have picture time. Put on that smile and it's closing ceremony. Mr. Gabriel smile. Please, if you want to learn how to smile, look at Mr. Gabriel. Look at the beautiful Mariam. It's going to teach you how to smile. Thank you. Our mentors have great smiles. Even Prof is smiling. So why are you not smiling? Okay. Please, let's turn on our cameras, please. Thank you. Wow, we have amazing, beautiful, handsome mentees this time. Amazing, amazing. Please let those smiles keep resonating. Beautiful. Lovely, lovely. Okay, sir. Okay, Mr. Hussein. Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Yes, I see that we also have the Mazi, the Karl Marx of IP. Welcome, sir, to the closing ceremony. Nice to have you around. Yes, and he was not in before. That's Mr. Max Ikombe. Oh God, help me. Welcome, sir. Nice to have you around.
Thank you very much, God's love. My apologies for joining so late. I really apologize for that. But I thank God I caught Professor Samuel's dissertation. In fact, I think after that, everyone should be handed the diploma, at least in the connection between IP law and technology. Thank you so much, Prof. That was so beneficial to me. I'm so glad I caught that.
Thank you so much for joining us, sir. Okay, we have another mentor, and this is a woman who has been smiling throughout. She looks so beautiful. Her hair is given, was meant to be given. It's the beautiful Mariam Hassan. Nice to have you, ma'am. Let's hear from you your good message to the mentees for this closing ceremony and the quarter.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Happy to be here again, as usual. Where do I start from? No master classes or master's program today. So, well, I always start with thanking JIIPCC for, this opportunity to, impact and, our little knowledge, be able to pass it on. And congratulations to all the mentees and, at this closing ceremony. I hope you're filled with, some sort of joy or accomplishment, because I feel the same way, every time we have this closing ceremony. So it's like we've been able to gain some sort of knowledge and, we're rounding that off with a ceremony. Over the past week, I heard someone mention they were able to join 3 programs. That's, very commendable, and, over the past week, you've been able to go through this program and, shown some sort of dedication, passion, strength, and a thirst for knowledge. That's the reason why you're here anyway, because you want to be able to learn more, and that's truly commendable. So I would say you should pat yourselves, in the back for this, and I hope you're now better equipped to take on the world. And thanks to our keynote speaker, for that very beautiful session she took us through. So I think that just helps cement it, and that's like an icing on the cake of the entire program. You've all brought your unique perspectives to your groups. You've been in groups, and I'm sure you've learned and shared experiences together. So you're more knowledgeable than when you joined the session, because I'm sure you're able to take away something, because you can speak to some extent confidently on the things that you've learned. So you should applaud yourselves for that. Don't ever underestimate the value of the teamwork and the collaboration you've learned from this session, because you're beginning to learn how to work with people, how to work in groups. Even putting the presentations together and presenting itself is a skill that you need in the business world. So there's some sort of skill that you've learned from this mentorship program. Having to work with people, because that's a very unique skill you need to learn in the workplace. People management is very important. You need to be able to put aside your differences, how you feel, understand that people come from different backgrounds, because you being in a group, you're all from different backgrounds. You have different ideologies, you have different goals and things that you're aspiring to look forward to, but you have to put some personal things aside to be able to work together. That's like a really important skill that you need in the business world. As a mentor of this program, I've also learned, learning every day, like Prof has said. We just listened to Ms. Batmore speak, and I was also jotting down things and taking things down. Some of the things she mentioned are things that I would say I already have a personal brand, because today people at work or in school or wherever I find myself, or even my friends can, without me being there, can point their finger to say something about me, and you sort of see some consistency in the things that they would say. So ideally, I would say that's a personal brand that I've built. Some of these things, we know them or we do them, but we sort of don't know that there are terms. There are ways you can refer to it. Like she said, have a personal brand. Something that I've taken note of is also having a personal brand statement. I guess because she's a brand marketing person, so she'll put it. So I've also learned that everywhere I find myself, have a personal brand statement. It's almost like having a 2-minute pitch deck or something in your head. When you want to pitch a business to someone, and they give you 2 to 5 minutes to do that. So having a personal statement in your head, where at work people ask you, what exactly do you want from this? Because you already have that personal brand statement, you're able to speak to that confidently without having to think about it. So that's something I'm taking away from here, right? So I'm learning from you as well, from the presentations that you present to us during the sessions. I'm learning from the mentors as well. And acquiring knowledge generally is never ending. It's a continuous process. Brian Tracy says that people who try to develop the ability to continuously acquire new and better forms of knowledge, that they can apply to work and to their lives, will be better movers and shakers in the society. So learning is a continuous process, right? It never, ever stops. This session can end, but, you still need to keep learning, reading, build relationships with people. So I'm sure that you're excited because you've gained a lot of knowledge from this program. So the mentors, I'll say thank you for your guidance and insights and encouragement, right? I'm sure they're invaluable to the mentees. Thank you, and thanks to me as well for, pouring into the mentees. Your support has made this program possible. The mentors have, been here. We've all made this program possible. So we should also, give ourselves, some pats in the back for that. And to the mentees, thank you for being a part of this program. I was part of the fintech, sector conversation where we talked about fintech business models, profit models, and how much the fintech sector, are sort of spread out. And I'm sure the mentees were able to, gain a lot from that. So I'll encourage the mentees to continue exploring, take the skills and knowledge and connections that you make from this program. Ms. Badmos mentioned networking. She even showed us a networking map. So every single person here is a form of network that you're already building. You just begin to connect the dots. So take advantage of that and use it to push yourself forward and, constantly make a difference. Anywhere you find yourself, ensure to stand out, to build a personal brand identity, So remember to connect with all of us on LinkedIn, stay in touch. This is just the beginning. So go out there and be superstars. Thank you so much. Thank you, JIIPCC. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That's okay. I think we'll get really emotional today. That was really, really heartfelt. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Why the spirit's telling me fintech? Mr. Hussein, are you in fintech for next quarter? Thank you so much, ma'am. Okay, so we heard from two amazing mentors. Mr. Hussein? Oh my God, is that network?
You can go on, Mr. Godslove.
Okay, sir. Okay, so we've heard from two amazing mentors. We'll listen from some mentees again, then hear from some mentors. Before I do that, I want to show us something. JIIPCC always talks about networking, trying to link mentees to mentors to build us for the future. And I would say I'm a product of JIIPCC that has benefited a whole lot, not just from the classes, not just from the programs, but also directly from a mentor here at JIIPCC. Okay, so you see this. Yes, I got this as a result of my networking with JIIPCC and the learning process. This is privacy and data protection law in Nigeria. I've started reading it. It was given to me by the beautiful Abishola Ocean, one of the mentors here at JIIPCC. At a wonderful class, we were all having a nice time in class learning. That's why it's always advised when you're in a JIIPCC session, ensure you're involved. I think involvement paid off for me because being involved, she saw the fact that I was really liking this course. And I imagine getting a book all the way in Lagos. And God so arranged everything that I had to be in Lagos at that point, and the book was sent over. So thank you so much to JIIPCC for this opportunity. I'm already devouring the book. If you're a mentee here and you've gone through data protection privacy course, this is one book you need to read. And guess what? I got mine for free. So next time, get personal with your mentors. They could help you in the future. For those who are refusing to go on LinkedIn to follow them up, find them on Instagram, you're missing a lot because they get to know you on a very personal note. Personal note did this for me. Make sure you're using JIIPCC to the best, for your best and making it work for you. Okay, so I want to listen to another amazing mentee from this quarter. Hello, Daniel. Could I hope I'm getting that correctly? Daniel Ibikunle, is he still here? Okay, yes, Daniel Ibikunle. Hello, can we hear from you, please? Hello, Daniel. Okay, please, can we see more hands? More hands. I know Gladys. Where's Gladys Ogo? Or Ogo, please. I saw a hand earlier. Come on, mentees, let's put up our hands so that we can say something. I haven't got much time. Okay, can we hear from Apofure Omose Paul? Is it possible? Hello, Mr. Apofure Omose Paul. I hope getting that correctly.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Yeah, I greet the mentors and the mentees and the whole team of the JIIPCC. I've been very fortunate to be part of the mentees for the third quarter AI and emerging tech group. Specifically, I'm one of the mentees in the second group on the AI program. My journey in the JIIPCC mentorship program has been really great. I got hold of the information of the mentorship program earlier this year, which I started with training on the metaverse. And at the end of the course, I had really much interest.
Oh no, okay, I think we lost him there. We lost him there, so sorry about that. Okay, moving on, can we hear from Nisi or Yeneye? I hope I got that correctly, Nisi. Hello, Nisi or Yeneye. You're muted, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello. Yes, loud and clear.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Miss Uye, a legal practitioner. I got to know about this in a very funny and weird way, but I am glad I did. I took the course intellectual property because I always had this love for intellectual property in uni days. Unfortunately, it didn't take or within have a broad knowledge of this university, or I always had this love for intellectual property. And it's been a wonderful journey because the mentors were wonderful, are wonderful. I think guys are amazing. The knowledge you bring, wow, I'm really short of words for the mentors from Chinere, Mr. Musa, Mr. Ma, Mr. Kinsley, even Professor Rama. Like, has been wonderful. I got to know a lot. I got to, like, who would have even thought IP could be in sports, like sports and tradition. It's so, wow, mind blowing. I know when I saw the topic on tradition. I'm sorry? Okay.
Please carry on. Please carry on.
So the topic on tradition, I was like, okay, maybe there's a mistake or something, or really not wow. This way has made or is a platform that exposes you, and I know that with this knowledge, I'm going to study more. I'm going to try my very best to improve on my knowledge. I mean, in the future, come back as a mentor or something. But it has been a wonderful experience. I want to thank all the mentors. You guys have been wonderful. You didn't just teachers. You showed us your own personal experiences. I say thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Nisi. It's very important to learn more, to improve more on it, I would say, because when you improve more on the knowledge JIIPCC gives to you, you find out that, especially in the space we are now, especially being legal practitioners, there's a whole lot you can do with that knowledge when you get it. You become an asset to any firm you work with, become an asset to yourself, to the community. The fact that we have a newly formed law with regards to things like this, it's really amazing to have people who are knowledgeable. So go into the world and please just shine and let people know that you're a guru in the IP space. Okay, hello, Chiamaka. Let's hear from you, please. Is Chiamaka still here? You're muted, please. Chiamaka Asiebu, please, you're muted.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Amaka Asebu. Before now, I used to have very keen interest in energy industry, so I undertook to take the energy industry section with JIIPCC, and I'm very grateful for the section because I've learned so much. And I intend, as a 500 level law student of Imo State University, I intend to use the knowledge to further my career in the legal profession. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, hello, Chidera. Chidera, please carry on. The floor is yours.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
It's lovely. My name is Chidera Nachironye. I'm a graduate from Babcock University of Law, and I'm very happy to be a part of quarter 3 of this program, specifically because prior to this, my knowledge of IP was very limited. I didn't know that there were several other opportunities in IP. And that was what inspired me to join the entertainment business and law track, because I was very interested in seeing how IP can really be used in that scene, especially since these aren't the kind of things that are usually taught in universities or as part of our classes and all of that. And I like the fact that even till now in the closing ceremony, we're still learning a lot. I like that Professor Andrews talked about AI and IP. I actually wrote that as my dissertation for my final year project. But even as he was speaking, as much as I already understood that, he was still saying things that were opening my mind. And I really love that. I love that this has exposed me to teamwork and cooperation as well, which are all skills that I know that will be very beneficial to me, both in my legal career and beyond. So thank you, JIIPCC.
Thank you very much. The truth is, with JIIPCC, the learning never ends. It's one phenomenal thing about the JIIPCC program. The learning would never ever end because you keep learning over and over as you progress. Okay, we'll take from one one more mentee, and then we'll go straight to our mentors. Who is the lucky person going to be? Okay. Is Daniel Ibukunle back?
Hello, I'm back. Good evening.
Okay, good afternoon. How are you doing? You're muted, please.
Fine, thank
you.
I'm fine, thank you. Okay, so my name is Daniel Olofemi Ibukunle. I am a final year law student at Obafemi Awolowo University, Ife, with specific interest in IP, finance, and ADR. So I applied for this program because I didn't get to take IP in my fourth year, and then with my interest in finance, I decided I wanted to go for a program that would, fuse both together. So I decided to go for entertainment, business, and law. I'd like to say that the program has been everything I expected it to be. I'm looking forward to using all of the knowledge I've gained so far. I intend to explore more opportunities where I can actually contribute to IP protection and innovation within law. I'm also looking to broaden my resume, see where I can collaborate with IP creatives and other legal practitioners in the field. I have to say a very big thank you to the entire JIIPCC team, especially Mr. Hussein Mahadi. It was very much on hand to answer our questions, guide us. I'd like to pinpoint my particular mentor, Mr. Timitokwe Salami. He made much of a mark on us. He was very brilliant during our classes, and then I've enjoyed this program so well. I would say that quite a number of my colleagues too on the program made the internship experience very fun for me. Chidera Wood spoke just now, Fola Kemi Alo, Monica too. So all three of them have been very they've made the experience very fun for me. Cooperation and all of that. I think this program has helped also, make my research skills, has made my research skills better because I have to work on articles every day, every week. So it was really good, a really good process. But I've enjoyed it very much, and I want to say a very big thank you to JIIPCC. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for also choosing JIIPCC. It was really a pleasure having you on the course. And of course, yes, a big kudos to Mr. Hussein. He's one man who I would say he has become an older brother, a friend, a father, everything. We bring you in this program. He's not like he's a hand that holds you and guides you through it all. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Hussein, for a wonderful time as well. Okay, we have my mentors again. Now, speaking of fathers, this is one person who wasn't just a senior colleague to me, but someone who became a father back in school. One man who, over time, I know even to date, my alma mater still reaches out to him for his amazing skill sets. He's someone who is highly intelligent. Yes, that I was opportunity to have been under his anointing and leadership during the JIIPCC, my JIIPCC mentorship program and time as well as an intern when I was going through the AI course. So ladies and gentlemen, I give to you the amazing Mr. Gabriel Udo. The floor is yours, sir.
Good afternoon. I hope it's afternoon everywhere, or at least sometime around afternoon. Thank you, God's love.
Sir.
Usually I start by thanking JIIPCC for the opportunity. I learn quite a lot every time I'm here. Up till today, I mean, the presentation by Ms. Batmos was something incredible. It's sometimes you need to hear something that you think you knew before, and then you realize that you didn't know that much. Then it sticks into your head that you just presume. There are so many things that you presume you know. It happens every time. You're reading a book, you're skipping pages. Oh, I already know this. Or you see an idea somewhere, you see a news article. Yeah, I already knew this. But then you hear it this way, and it just becomes more appealing. It exposes you to certain deep areas that you presumed you knew, and then you realize you have totally no idea about it. So thank you so much for the opportunity to learn. Thank you so much, Ms. Batmos, for today, for your presentation today. And thank you to all the other mentors and the mentees, especially those that make presentations. that I happen to learn a lot from. I'll say just two things. The first is what I've always said. We really need to catch up with the trends of AI. No matter how you look at it, there's an explosion. And if we don't catch up for whatever reason, many of us are going to be left behind. And I'm glad, like Prof said earlier, this current generation of those of us in this generation, we seem to have a heightened interest towards these things, and it's really good. It helps us map the future, even though Africa seems to be a little bit, not too backward, but we seem to be backward with technology-related issues. There's the thought, the idea that there's a possibility we're all going to catch up, especially coming from this generation of scholars and those of us that are still trying to learn and get to know more about AI. So thank you so much for the opportunity. Today, I tried as much as possible not to talk more about AI and the other things that I presume we must have learned towards or in the course of the program. The whole AI thing, we've learned a lot. There are things that we can also learn on our own. There are things we can learn from reading. But one of the most important things about our career paths, especially, or our lives generally, is something that Miriam has mentioned today. Thank you so much, Miriam, for bringing that to my memory. And I think Ms. Badmus also mentioned it to an extent in her presentation. It's our capacity to network with people, but not just building a network. Building a network is easier than keeping the network. That's a problem that, from my personal opinion, I think so many of us do have, right? You build networks, you know people here and there. After 5 years, if I ask you, do you still have contact with these persons? And you realize that you've lost contact with 90% of them. You try to build new networks. So when you need something from the past, as you get into the future, you realize you need to pick up something from the past. You realize you have to go back to the people you used to know 10, 15 years ago, and you're struggling to get back to them. And of course, again, with the presumption, oh, I already know these people, I don't need to reach out to them, or I don't need to. So in summary, it's not just having a network, but keeping the network, which seems to be a problem. Yeah, the problem with building the network is also there, but it's more important to keep the network. It's easier to build a network than to keep it, which again is a problem we all have. I try to do this myself. I'm very terrible at networks, really bad at it. I mean, I had to sit down and tell myself, okay, I need to start working on this, because no matter what you know, no matter how intelligent you are, no matter how many degrees you have, the way the world is going, especially a little bit away from Africa, well, of course, we know in Africa, of course, we have that who do you know kind of system. But you might think this is just an African thing. It's not. It's worldwide. All the opportunities I have had from personal experience, all of them, the conferences, the fellowships, the jobs, the connections I've had have come from people that I already know, that says, oh, Gabriel, I know you. Oh, during our discussion the other time, you mentioned this. Do you have an eye? Can you do a research in this? I'm like, yeah, I have this. They're like, okay, someone is going to call you tomorrow. And then you run into a 2-year project and you get paid for it. So sometimes you're going to have to depend on your network to get certain things, not on the knowledge or the information that you have. You might be so intelligent. My thesis supervisor used to tell me that he believes the best footballer is not on TV, right? But the difference between that person and the guys you see on TV is the network that they have, the people that find them, the people that are able to see them, the people that have the capacity to bring you to life. So first of all, I heard someone mention here, try to reach out to people on LinkedIn. It doesn't have to be the mentors. You can reach out to the mentors. You can reach out to people, but find people when you have a dream, when you have a target, find people that have been through that process. Find people also that are trying to get through that process. Your colleagues, your friends, reach out to them. I had a very bad experience on LinkedIn between late last year and sometime in March. And it just, it just came into my head when Ms. Badmo started talking about networks and how we create networks. I went for a conference in Stockholm. I presented a paper on why Africa is not to be seen as the dumping ground of technologies. And after my presentation, the guy, I used to refer to him like that. He's a young person. He's an investor. He reached out to me. He's like, he really wants to see, have some tech-related investments in Africa, but he's always scared of the legislative landscape, the tech regulatory landscape in Africa, and he doesn't invest in what he doesn't understand. If I was able to guide him and then maybe present some people. He talked about a project they were working on in Florida, and he wanted someone in Africa to be part of that project so he can see how he can expand his influence into Africa. So I went on LinkedIn. Of course, I was going to do my own background search. I reached out to two people. One, which is of interest, happened to be a young lady. And I reached out to her, wrote to her, I learned you have these skills on, tell me a little bit about what you have done. I started like a usual conversation. Glad to connect with you. And I like your post on LinkedIn. I'm also following, I'm trying to learn this. And she was like, thank you so much. I'm glad you follow me. Like, yeah, I learn a lot. By the way, I noticed you do Flutter. So tell me about the project you've done. She started talking about a project. That was in November last year, the last day of November. And that was shortly after ChatGPT came up. So she talked about a project that she's really thinking of. They're working with other people. They want to put it in the market. And she was describing something that I knew was 0.1% of what ChatGPT could do. Then ChatGPT was new. So I engaged her. I asked her, what makes you think you don't already have this technology in the market? What makes you think you can't add more things to what you already have, more functionalities, so it can sell? Because it's not going to sell like this. And she got really angry and, wrote lots of things. You are discouraging me because you think you're way ahead. All sorts of. I just sat down for a while. I was frozen. But that wasn't the end of it. The following morning, she made a post on LinkedIn. I certainly knew that was about our conversation. And her post, she was talking about people that think they have made it so far that they discourage others that are trying to climb the ladder. And then she talked and used a very funny way of describing the conversation we had earlier. I reached out to the other person very carefully, and I just went straight, hey, would you like to do this? She said, yes, I want to see what you've done, and that went. That person got in contact and got the job done for whatever reason. The connection is still there. But I discovered this 2 weeks ago that she had written me again a couple of weeks later. She and the other person that got the contract or whatever was, they happened to be in the same network. And she later found out that this was what this conversation was about. Then she wrote me a very long message. I don't know why you got pissed. We were having a conversation. And I told her, look, I wasn't angry. You just didn't tell me what I wanted to hear, right? I'm not angry at you. You have the right to say, to think, you have your opinion. It's not a problem for me. I know what I wanted. And if you think I wanted something else, that's your problem. As a matter of fact, I'm even glad you didn't think I was trying to ask you to be my girlfriend, because I know people also say that. So for whatever reason, I'm glad we got to talk. If you have any other questions, you can also still reach out to me. And that's how she lost that. Trust me, the person that's done that project is now working for a German company, and she lives in Lagos. She earns enough to come to Germany and leave whenever she wants to. Now, that's how good that project was. Just a simple, hey, so why do you think this is? So also our communication, how we converse with people. I'm not saying we shouldn't be cautious. There's a lot of freaks, unquote, out there, but we have to find a way, learn how to keep the connections, the network. It's easy to connect with someone on LinkedIn and chat up the person, but then it's more difficult to stay on your lane, to stay on that conversation and be sure that you can reach out to this person when you have a question or when you have a problem. So aside all that we've learned about AI, about IP, you can have all the knowledge, but if you don't have the network, you need someone to be able to listen to you, and someone you can say, sit down here, I want to tell you about what I can do. And the person sits down, not because of what you know, but because you know the person. The person respects a relationship, a network that you have, and sits down. People are going to need to know you first before they know what you know. So before people have the opportunity to get into your head, let them get to know you, get to know them, talk to them, reach out to them when you have to. It doesn't have to be, don't wait until someone has a contract. Write someone on LinkedIn, hey, I saw this post you made. It's really interesting. I would like to talk about this. I'm trying to work on something in this area. If you have the time, if you don't, cool. And whenever opportunities come in that area, the person thinks, yeah, this person wrote me some weeks back, and goes back and gets the connection. Yeah, so in summary, don't just learn this, don't just gather the knowledge, also know how to build and to keep connections. These are very important. Otherwise, you have all the skills, you have all the knowledge, and you won't find someone that says, let's hear what you know. So first, know the thing. Second, build the network, and then have the opportunity to expand or to extend what you know to those within your network. And finally, once again, thank you. I'm very glad to always hear University of Uyo recurring every time and every time. Goslov was there. I know Prof was in Uyo. Prof, I was in the Faculty of Law too in the University of Uyo. I had my bachelor's and my first master's degree from that same faculty. So, and it's not too long ago. So I'm still a double alumni of the University of Uyo. I usually just get excited when I hear University of Uyo. Finally, just before I end, I want to also encourage you, if you did not listen to the keynote speech today by Ms. Badmus, honestly, if you did not take your time to listen to it, I think you should go back to it. I will personally go back to it, but I think everyone should go back to it. One of the things I did unconsciously that I realized today that I did was I had too many dreams, right? God's love will remember, I used to do international law. I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to be a technologist. So somehow at some point I found a way to merge both of them. And I think I'm comfortably running in between both of them. But then I would advise you, listen to that speech again. It's something that would help you just way beyond the knowledge you have. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And once again, I'm always here when you need my, my attention. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So I was going to say the girl from the lady from LinkedIn, just simply tell her it's her village people, know that person. Her village people. She should go and appease them, apologize to them. She should sever her relationship with them. I believe in the Bible, there's something called powerful. I hope I got that correctly. Oh yes. Thank you so much, sir. Our mentors are on fire this afternoon. Like, I think it's my favorite closing ceremony. I would want to go through the entire closing ceremony on YouTube again to learn so much. Thank you. Okay, moving on, we want to hear from another amazing mentor. I call her the goddess of intellectual property. If you follow her on Instagram, you will learn so much when it comes to the IP space. She puts it in words, in acting, in song. I ask her most times, does she have a pre-knowledge before an IP issue happens? Because it's almost as though it just happened. The next minute, it's on her IG space. How do you do that? Probably that's why she's the goddess of IP. And it's funny that she also made me know the fact that you do not need to be a lawyer to be a guru at IP. If you're an IP enthusiast and move so much that you become a consultant and you do so much good in that space. Ladies and gentlemen, to one of my favorite mentors of all time, they have the beautiful Shukurat Modupe Amosa. Is she on the call, please? Hello, ma'am. Her smile is so beautiful. Please, ma'am, you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Loud and clear as usual.
Thank you for the introduction. Before I start with, I would like to appreciate the mentors that have spoken and the mentees as well. First off, I'm going to borrow Dr. Modi's speech, just a phrase of his speech from the IP convention we had 2 weeks ago, and that is prioritize excellence. Do you understand? So anything you are doing, at least what is worth doing at all is worth doing well. Like I used to say, I started as a mentee in the JIIPCC program. Do you understand? So sometimes we have this feeling like, I already know it's Joe. What are they teaching there? Do you understand? So even though IP is still very new in Nigeria, and all the courses I had taken at that time was WIPO courses, like I built myself on IP by WIPO course. Like I'm not law student. I didn't do law. I was just doing WIPO courses all through. And that was where I got my knowledge. So when I saw the JIIPs, I was like, oh, I would like to be a mentor on this program because I have knowledge on IP already. That was like, I think 2-3 years ago. I was like, before being a mentor, I would like to know what exactly it is these people do. What is the kind of knowledge the mentors have? Actually have the partial knowledge of IP that I really to attribute myself to. Do you get? So I had to like just sign up for the mentee program. And it was quite an interesting one. We got our mentors, they did amazingly well. And another thing is, wherever you are, try to always contribute. Like, people don't know, I'm a very shy person. Sincerely, I don't know how to face crowd. That was back in maybe 7 years ago or so. But when I did my master's program, another thing is, any environment you find yourself, try as much as possible to be useful. You know, let people know that, okay, this person can actually, I don't want to do anything. You don't want to participate, you don't want to partake in anything. So during my master program in intellectual property, I used to be the person coordinating whenever we're having exam. I used to be the one coordinating the exam tutorials. So we have exam tutorials before we write our exam. So I'm always the one coordinating exam tutorials, would ask questions from people. And although I wasn't the president of the program, or no, but I had a connection with our president when I wants to ask program, we pass questions and all of that. And so that was actually gave me that kind of facing crowds, small, you understand? Before I started doing, I don't know how to face crowd. I really don't know how to face crowd. But doing that actually gave me that, I was able to combat that fear of facing crowd. So I was like, okay, fine, if I can do this, that means I can actually face a larger crowd. And you attend programs, you meet people, try to always make people hear your opinion. If you have questions, ask. And I think that was actually what got I and Mr. Max very close. Then Mr. Max was our mentor during my own set. And when I met, and I think I asked a particular question, I think the relationship between copyright and industrial design. I think that was a question. And I was like, this question you're asking, are you sure you are not a mentor? Do you understand? So that was actually brought I and Mr. Max together. And the next session, I just applied as a mentor because it's good to have an idea of that way you'll be able to relate with mentors because you are mentees, because you've already participated in the program. You know how it works. So, and that thing is, I know when you are in a group, most people don't like to do anything. I understand. And you'll be like, will I be the one doing the only work? Is it only me that will do this? Only me will present. We guys should contribute. Is that time everybody in the group will keep quiet? They will not see anything. But when it's time to present, they will now call. I'm like, so I'll be the one to do this thing. Like, it happens. It happens everywhere during your program. But just try as much as possible to do the best you can do because it's a group work. If the group fails, everybody in the group fails. And you don't want to fail. So you have to do the work on behalf of the group. So doing that also will actually make you actually gather. If you notice, those that actually write those articles, those that do the assignment, those that present, they have more knowledge compared to the other members of the group that didn't do anything. So try as much as possible. And once you are learning, try as much as possible to put what you are learning in use. Because the moment you are not putting it in use, you just kind of forget. I got into IP. It was not as if I know anything about IP. I was just employed. I was employed to work in the Industrial Research Institute, but I was in the intellectual property session. And I don't know anything about intellectual property. So I had to start reading. I was like, wait, there's something called intellectual property that will protect people's work. People cannot use it. And you can still make money from it. I was like, oh, wow, really? I was like, oh, wow, really? So if I don't know about this thing, it means so many people don't know about it too. Do you understand? And that was how it happened. That was how I started posting on Instagram. Not because I wanted to make money from it. So just, if I don't know, people don't know, just education's sake. And before you know it, everybody started calling me, the tangible not get, the tangible not get. It was not as if I had the intention to create a brand. That was not my intention. Do you understand? So and once you now see that people people already know you with what you do, then try to put yourself out there more. Do you get? So I think that's what I'm just going to say basically. Prioritize excellence and put yourself out there. Try as much as possible to do your best. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Yeah, I can understand when the little one comes around. Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. If there's something JIIPCC is very particular about is the excellence and as well putting yourself out there. I hear most of our mentors always saying this, and it's not a farce, it's the truth. And it's the truth for that. Put yourself out there. Do not just get the knowledge and dwell on it, sit on it. It's why I know that for a while, when I joined the JIIPCC beneficial, truthfully, I made some I learned here in the JIIPCC program. It's really amazing. Please build connections, write things, put it out there. When you have a time to speak about these things. Look for the platform that works for you. If Twitter is what works for you, please go on Twitter, write a whole lot on the things you've learned. If it's LinkedIn, make LinkedIn your best friend, right? But I would promise you, please do LinkedIn a whole lot because you get to meet a lot of professionals there who would give you what they call Owonikoko. I think I learned that from Mrs. Shukura. She spoke about that her first time. Owonikoko, the money in exchange for the knowledge. So take it out there, let people know. So Gabriel also said that when you get the knowledge, increase your network. When you get your network, ensure that you're making them know what you know. And over time, they get to monetize it because you know it. Okay, we want to now hear from another mentor. I hope he's still on the call. Okay, yes. The Mazi himself, the Karl Marx of IP. Hearing this man speak for the first time was a breath of fresh air. Ladies and gentlemen, another one of my favorite mentors from the JIIPCC session is the Mazi of IP, the wonderful Mr. Max Ikongwe. Nice to have you, sir. Please, your final words for the mentees.
Thank you very much, God's Love. I mean, God's Love, of course, is a very advanced hype man, you know, in the legal and IP sector. He's certainly one of the highest grossing hype men you can find anywhere. You know, I mean, he always has a good word for everyone, and he's I'll use his word back on him. It's always a breath of fresh air. So every time I come for the IP mentorship and he's the one leading the session, I know I'm going to have a good weekend because he just has a way of lifting everyone's spirit. Thank you so much. Of course, I'll begin by thanking JIIPCC. I mean, when I look back and I, remember my connection with JIIPCC, I think it was something happened. Juliana reached out to me once. She needed something, maybe information or something. And I just gave the information offhandedly. And thereafter, she reached out and said, will you be interested in joining this program? I said, well, for me, why not? It's always a good idea to stay within a community where knowledge is, being traded, because I mean, you never can get to the point where you no longer need new knowledge or sometimes refinement of the knowledge you already think you have. And since then I joined JIIPCC, and for me, JIIPCC has been more of a blessing to me than I have been to JIIPCC. So a lot of times it happens that a question comes up in JIIPCC, and I try to attend to it, and I might not give an answer that I think is satisfactory. I go back to just have another look at a book or an article to just educate myself a little bit more on that aspect. And it would happen that 2-3 weeks down the line, a client will come to me with that exact same problem. So by the time I just churn out an answer offhandedly, I'm like, wow, this guy knows IP, as in he didn't even need to consult any book. He just had the answer at the tip of his fingers. But of course, they don't know that JIIPCC had prepared me 2 or 3 weeks beforehand for that answer. So I mean, Amusa, for instance, when I first met Amusa, of course, I knew immediately that this person was disguising. This was not a mentee. This was actually a mentor in mentee's clothing, and I alerted her immediately because she asked a question, and Amusa was a little bit more complex than just the relationship between copyright and design. It was, I can't remember exactly what that question was, but it was one of those kinds of questions that I had to go and do some research on. And, barely a month after, a client came. In fact, just this morning, that same client actually woke me with the first message I saw on WhatsApp. The client does furniture business, and he had been thinking for a while. I mean, he has very unique designs in terms of cabinets, kitchen cabinets, and walk-in wardrobes. So, and then there's been a need to really design a system that really protects him, particularly from ex-employees who just go out there, take his designs and just begin to market themselves, and then they undercut him. So, I mean, he gets to a client, gives the client a bill, and then one of his former employees will go behind his back and just go give the person maybe a bill that is 30% lower than what he gave, and been stealing a lot of work from him. So that there's been a need to actually design a system, with IP law, with relation to his furniture design. So I think it was that kind of question Amosa asked then, and after that time, I had to investigate Amosa. At the point, I concluded, just like God's love also mentioned, that Amosa perhaps had a prescient way of knowing what the next IP controversy would be, and it seems she already had a graphics and all already. And once the IP controversy breaks, 10, 15 minutes later, you're already seeing a post from Amosa either on her WhatsApp status, which is where I usually follow her on, or on Instagram as well. So I had to actually insist in May of this year that Amosa, if I don't see you in flesh and blood, I will conclude that you are an advanced IP system designed by WIPO to just churn out IP information and masquerading as a human person. So fortunately for me, I finally got to meet Amosa in person in May of this year, and it was such a wonderful time. Why am I going through that route to tell you that story? It's also about the JIIPCC story. Beyond the knowledge you are gaining in JIIPCC, is, Gabriel also mentioned that. Everybody who has spoken here has mentioned that the network you are getting is invaluable. That's one thing I want to let you know, that the network you are getting in JIIPCC is invaluable. Like I tell people, some of the, JIIPCC for me is one of my pension programs. I'm hoping, and I know that the connections I'll make from JIIPCC, when I'm going to go into retirement, I'll just be sitting at home and getting calls. Oh, can you just come and do consultancy on this? Can you come and give advisory on this IP valuation? And that would be for me a pension scheme that would be more than any pension scheme I can amass. So that is what the power of network does for you. You can have all the knowledge in the world. If you do not have a network that can actually make that knowledge become a benefit to you in terms of economic benefit, then that knowledge actually is wasted. And after a while, if that knowledge begins to eat you up yourself. So and I really love the story Gabriel gave, on how we interact with people. Social media, because you are away from people, you get that temptation to be nasty, to be rude, to just bear all of your mind. But you have to calm down, because a lot of people who do these things on social media will not be able to stand face to face with people to say those things, but they can say it just because they are hidden behind a keypad. So, networking, particularly in the social media era, is in itself a very fine form of art. You have to really be careful how you interact with people on social media. JIIPCC, of course, has given you a head start. You have everyone here. You have everyone you've met, both mentor, and also beyond that, don't always think it's about just the mentors you meet in JIIPCC. Even the mentees, in fact, likely to be even critically more important for you than the mentors in the journey that you have ahead, if you really want to pursue a career in this area. So please don't take everyone for granted. Build those networks. Keep that. Knowledge has brought you essentially together. Knowledge, of course, would likely be the first connection point. But beyond knowledge, a lot of other things can also, open up opportunities. And then just to give another story as well from JIIPCC. At the moment, I currently have a JIIPCC intern who is actually interning in my firm. And she started interning with us, I believe, in May, or I think in June. But in that short span of time, she's done so, and when I look back, like I say, I always look at it that JIIPCC always gives me a lot more than I ever give to JIIPCC. So I thought I was getting an intern from JIIPCC, but she has been, something else. And she's written a final address in a trademark infringement suit. She's done all kinds of things. She's currently working on an opposition proceedings. These are things that, because of how my firm was structured, and, the main person who was head of our IP had to travel for further study. So I was almost at the point where there was going to be a crisis point in our IP practice, when suddenly JIIPCC just sent me an email and said, we are starting an internship scheme. I was a little hesitant, but I said, well, let me just try it and let's see what will happen. And how glad am I that I did that. So it just, tells you how, how beneficial what you have in JIIPCC can be towards you. I could tell more stories of people I've met in JIIPCC, opportunities they have brought in terms of actual work that has brought money to me, but I don't even want to go that route. I just want to tell you about, the deeper bonds of friendship that a place like JIIPCC can bring to you. And then, of course, all the other things are just added benefits at the end of the day. So, I'd encourage you. And I was so glad I caught a lot of what Prof was saying. The truth of the matter is that whether we like it or not, IP has taken a front and center stage so far as, the economics of this nation is concerned. A nation that is trying to move away from reliance on raw minerals, of course, on oil and gas, as it were, at the moment, that nation certainly is headed in one direction. Like I keep telling people, France makes more money from protecting its geographic indication in champagne that Nigeria makes from pumping crude oil and selling. And just imagine how sustainable what they have is compared to how unsustainable what we have is. I mean, with the new move, climate change and the green economy and all of that and decarbonization, what we have is already phased out. But what they have, none of these things will touch it. So, and I'm glad the way Prof put it that we have a generation now that you have the opportunity from an early stage in your career to begin to understand these things and begin to prepare yourself. So, there's a whole range of fields out there for you. There's the advocacy space where you can go to help to advocate to get better laws, get better regimes, regulatory and enforcement regimes for IP law. That is one huge area. There are people like me who are just in practice, who is trying to make money and make an end from our knowledge of IP. That's also good, but of course, you also have to always balance it and try to give some back by ensuring that we are expanding the frontier of, of knowledge in that sector. Of course, there are people who would just make, money from it in terms of advisory. You are not necessarily resolving disputes like I usually do. You are just giving advisory and ensuring that disputes do not even arise at all in the first place. And then there are so many more. And like I said, you could also look at IP from an industry perspective. So there are certain industries that without IP law, those industries would just not scale and thrive. So for instance, sports, one of the mentees mentioned that without IP, look at the power of IP. Before IP became a huge deal in sports, I was watching a documentary on Manchester United television, I believe Sabobi Charlton. And as at their time in the 1960s, there was a record transfer fee. Ask me what this record transfer fee was. I think it was maybe £100,000. I mean, that's not even what the most average player in the Premiership makes at the moment. But what changed in the world of sports was when IP, merchandising and all licensing, broadcast rights and all those things became an integral part of the sports industry. Now, the sports industry has completely turned around. Now, the sports industry in Nigeria, for instance, has not turned around because we have not leveraged the power of IP. We are still leveraging ticket sales and the most rudimentary forms of commercializing sports. That is why we are still where we are. So it behoves on us who are here to, as we learn these things, to begin to think, what sector am I going to go into with my IP, with my IP knowledge or with any other knowledge I've gained here to make sure that I bring about a revolution. I mean, like I said, there are so many other industries, pharmaceutical industry, for instance, without IP law, nobody's going to invest what it takes, the expensive amounts you pump into research and development of new drugs, when you are not sure you are going to get a 20-year monopoly by way of patent law to recoup on your investment. Nobody's going to fund those kinds of investment. In technology, it's also the same thing. Without IP law, without, for instance, the regime of software licensing, for instance, and of course the things that has grown like open software and all of that, there's no way we would have gotten this boom we have seen in the technology space. So it tells you how critical IP is going to be, and IP is already becoming. So, with the knowledge you have, what it does for you now is to think about certain sectors. And I mean, I made the mistake at the beginning of my IP career to just be a generalist IP and just think IP was all about getting clients to register trademarks for them, register patents for them and all. I mean, that's a very little way of thinking about what actually is a much bigger picture. But when you begin to focus on IP, as I love this industry and I want to see how I can bring IP to this industry to really make a difference. When you begin to think like that, then that is how we can really push forward and really help our nation transition, from dependence on the mineral resource to depending on what is more sustainable and what continues to give as it gets older. So, I mean, I don't want to, go too much further than this. I'll end at this point, but just to congratulate you, I'm so delighted to connect with all of you. Please, I mean, of course, at any time you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, on whatever. You can always get my phone number. And I mean, for the JIIPCC coordinators, like I say, my phone number is always available. Anybody wants to reach me, you can always reach me on WhatsApp, chat me. Typically late at night is when my brain is most productive and when I usually am most responsive. So feel free. Don't think it's out of place to chat me up by 11 p.m. or by 12 midnight. That usually is when you get a response from me. Middle of the day, I might not be able to give you a response. But please feel free. Let's keep connecting, and then of course help me, because like I said, this is my pension plan. So ensure my pension plan is safe, is secure, and is growing. So thank you very much, God's love, and back to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Okay. Wow. Thank you, really, sir. you've heard it, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to contact, please, 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 quickly go. Yes, ma, I think I want that pension plan as well. Let's all start working on it right now. Thank you, sir. Okay, so we'll go back to our mentees. We'll take a few mentees. Our time is fast spent. So mentees, please, if you're ready and willing to speak, kindly signify by a raise of hand, and we'll quickly call on you. We'll pick in a few mentees, so we will not have so much time. So request that you kindly signify now, please, so we can go through as many as we can for our time is officially up for the closing ceremony. A big thank you to our mentors who have been here with us from the beginning and are still here. Thank you so much. That means a whole lot to us. Really appreciate that. Okay, Blossom. Okay, Blossom. Over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name
Good afternoon.
From Ekiti State University. So I'm a 400 level of student. Yeah, and yeah, I really want to appreciate JIIPCC for organizing this internship and mentorship program, because prior to this, I didn't have any knowledge of the energy industry. I wasn't, I cannot say that it was something that was of interest to me, but when I looked at the list of the courses that were being offered, I was like, let me do something that I'm not hearing so much about, and I didn't want to do I didn't want to do fintech. I said, okay, let me just do the energy industry and see how things go. And I am so glad that I am enrolled in that cohort, and it was so good. I'm so thankful for all the mentors, everyone. They were so like, they really explained to us, took their time to like make sure that we understood what the energy industry is all about, and I am so thankful. And going forward, I want to continue to like look into the energy industry, do some comparisons in the new energy and electricity act, just compare documents, just try to be an authority in the energy industry on LinkedIn, and there's an energy law club in my faculty, but like it's not functioning anymore. So because of the knowledge I've built from this internship program, I've sort of gained confidence to like try and see why the energy club failed and see if I can like revive it again, with the help of some mentors and some other lecturers that I have built a connection with. So thank you very much to JIIPCC, and thank you very much to all the mentors. I would definitely, in fact, I am already recommending this internship program to my friends and my colleagues and everyone around me. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Blossom. Thank you. Indeed, if you're a mentee and you're not recommending JIIPCC to others, you're someone who is very stingy with knowledge, and it's unfair. People should also drink from this endless well and wealth of knowledge. Okay, I see Ebube Ugod G. I hope I got that correctly. Hello, Ebube. Please, the floor is yours.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much.
Hello.
Yeah, you got the name correctly, Ogoji. Yeah. So, my name is Emmanuel Ogoji, currently in the Nigerian Law School, Abuja. So, while in the Nigerian Law School here, or before then, I had a lot of my friends that were always talking about IP law, data privacy, energy, and so on and so forth. But I really had no idea, what it's all about. I really had no idea what in each of these fields are, and I think one of the major problems graduates like me have is we don't know where to start. We don't know which area of law we should focus on. We don't know how to make that decision. So I think that was one of the reasons I decided to join JIIPCC. I was like, okay, this is an opportunity for me to at least get an idea, a fair idea of what each of these fields of of law can offer. So it has been been a wonderful experience. I definitely got more than I bargained for. I learned a lot. I met exceptional individuals and mentors, Solomon Nokobera, okay, I really can't pronounce his name, and Mr. Folabi. They are really inspiring in the energy class. So definitely will recommend JIIPCC. I'm sure I'll definitely come back for other sessions to just get an idea, you know, before I leave the Nigerian law school. So I'm really grateful for JIIPCC. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. Indeed. I'm already thinking, I think next quarter, I have 2 courses in mind already for next quarter. JIIPCC, get ready, I'm coming back. It's decided because there's so much knowledge here. Hello, Blessing Bill. The floor is yours, please.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My name is Blessing Bill, and I'm an economist. I'm a 300 level economics student at the University of Uyo, and I opted in for the JIIPCC Data Privacy and Protection course because being an economics student, I have so much passion in the data analysis area, and then going through the course and going through the flyer, I saw data privacy and protection. I was so excited, and then I was like, okay, maybe this is going to give me more knowledge into data analysis and all of that. I didn't have any knowledge about the legal part of data privacy and protection, not until my first class that I attended, and then our mentor, Mr. Solomon, he was saying things like about NDPR, NDPA. I was so lost, like, God, is this like for a law student, or was I just mistaken and sign up for the wrong course? But I kind of because attend all the classes that thing, and I must attest to it. It has been a vocation, commitment. Even though I was struggling with my schooling and every other thing, I created time for the program, and then I'm so happy I did that. Thank you very much, Mr. Solomon Okedara, and thank you to all our mentors. It was a really great experience for me here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Blessing. Thank you so much, Blessing. I know somehow it sounds cliche and probably it's not again another Tuskite here. I'm really impressed. I'm really happy. I hope you actually got to learn so much more. Yes, at first it sounds like that. When you're in a new terrain, I'm sure you actually achieved a lot. Thank you. Okay, Ifesinachi Agbasi or Agbazi, please help me call those names. Ifesinachi Agbasi, the floor is yours, please. She looks so amazing, like the hair.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. So my name is pronounced Ifesinachi Agbasi. Yes. Okay. So I'm a final year law student of Imo State University, Owerri. So, and with regards to this mentorship program, I'm a mentee on intellectual property. So I've always had an interest in intellectual property, and it's quite unfortunate that my school do not offer it as a course. So I want to officially thank JIIPCC for this platform that helps me gain experience and insights on the course. I also, throughout my mentorship sessions, I had the privilege of meeting seasoned and professional mentors who did not hold any knowledge with regards to intellectual property. So I'm very grateful. So I firmly believe that with all I've learned in this mentorship program, will significantly influence my future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. It's very nice when you finally can pronounce some of the names. Okay, where are people? I'm seeing a name that seems really familiar. Is Emerem Njideka on the call, please? Emerem Njideka, are you on the call?
Sorry, good afternoon, everyone. I'm kind of indisposed on my camera, but I just wanted to say thank you so much for the opportunity. I didn't even raise my hand, but it's like you kind of picked that I wanted to say something, even if I couldn't.
Yeah, and that name seems really familiar as well.
Yes, it is. I'll inbox you. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Gabriel. I was on the artificial intelligence class. Everyone said I was way over my head because what was I doing there? But thank you so much for making it really compelling. I learned a whole lot, and God's love said, I'm definitely taking more classes because you just think that you know so much, but there's just so much of leaving out on the table. There's so much opportunity here, and thank you, JIIPCC. Is it? JIIPCC or JIIPCC now
JIIPCC
for the
works,
opportunity.
Yeah.
I mean, seasoned mentors from across the globe. I was just always so inspired, and thank you so very much. Let me give other people opportunities to talk. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Is Chuku Precious here, please? Chuku Precious. Okay, good. More hands are coming. Precious, can you unmute yourself, please? Okay, while she's working on that, let's hear from Evie Williams Agbedo. Evie, the floor is yours, please.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Sorry, but my name is Evie William Agbedo.
Okay, Agbedo, thank you.
Yes, it's H, not B. Okay, so good afternoon to all our mentors and my fellow mentees. So I was a mentee in the health law and technology class, and I was very, very blessed by being a part of it. As in, I don't know anything about health technology and law. I didn't know anything. I just had ideas. I just mix, health, tech, law. Okay, 3 words, you can just jumble them together and form a definition. But I'm very grateful that I got to be a part of it. The topics we treated, they were very, very insightful. I'm glad that there's something like JIIPCC. It gave me, one thing I'm very, very grateful for is the fact that it gave me the opportunity to learn from home, remotely. I don't really reach out much, but having an initiative like JIIPCC, being a part of it, helped me to learn from home instead of going out and looking for where I could actually learn things. Even taking courses online was it's somehow an issue for me, but JIIPCC gave me the opportunity to learn remotely, being dedicated. And I saw diligence in my mentors, Mr. Ebenezer Iguatu, Mr. Gift Oyere. They were very, very beautiful mentors. Mr. Ebenezer his heart towards us was that he always wanted us to get it right. As in every session, there was always something to correct. And I'm like, why? Why is there always something to correct? But I figured that I don't know it all. We don't know it all. So someone who has higher knowledge than us, someone who is a professional in the field, always showing us, okay, there are actually laws that govern these areas. You would think that there are no laws, that there are no laws that govern particular areas, even though you make your research, maybe you're not just diligent enough. But Mr. Ebenezer will just come and just say, no, there is a particular regulation for this. And I'm very grateful. I thank God for our moderators as well. They were very, very, they taught me diligence. That's one of the characters that I got. Apart from the knowledge, I also learned character. They taught me diligence in being on time with tasks. And if I don't complete the task, I'll feel bad that I need to complete this task. So I'm very grateful that I got to be part of the JIIPCC program for health technology and law.
Thank you so much, Evie. Thank you so much. And thanks for that correction. I really appreciate that. It's always nice to know how to pronounce names. Okay, Fola Kemi, the floor is yours, please.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Alofola Kemi, and I'm a 400 level law student of the University of Lagos. Okay, so my gypsy journey started from a friend actually. She just randomly texted me one day and was like, we're on break now. So like this is a program that I think you would be interested. So I made my research on what the program was about, and it looked like something that I would like. Was right. I really did like it. I signed up for the entertainment business and law course, which entertainment law is something that I want to specialize in. So I just thought that it was a very good opportunity for me to learn because they don't teach entertainment law in our faculty or in University of Lagos. So I just thought, okay, since I'm on break, it's going to be a wonderful opportunity for me to learn all I can about entertainment law. And I really did not know what to expect, like going into the program. But I'm glad I really stuck with it. And I was very diligent on my tasks it wasn't easy. Because the whole writing articles like every single week, doing presentations every week, it could get a little bit, tasking and it could be a little overwhelming. But I'm really glad that I stuck with it. I want to thank everybody. I especially want to thank Mr. Hussein for always answering my questions. Sometimes they could be a lot, I know, because I ask questions a lot. But I really want to thank him for everything, for his his drive, his passion, his always being there for us whenever we have questions or whenever we need clarifications. I also want to Daniel Ikunle, who was, in my entertainment business and law class. I really, really enjoyed working with him. He's a very brilliant mind. And we were able to do a lot of projects together. I remember when it was first class and I was
to put a slip in.
Okay.
We saw yesterday the ball.
Okay. I remember like the first class, I was the first person to present actually. And it was the first class. I was very overwhelmed. I was like, oh my God, am I going to actually do this thing right? But, with the help of with Daniel and my other teammates, he was able to help me to speak and tell me like, oh, you're supposed to do it this way. And, we're able to have a successful program. And I really enjoyed working with my teammates. So the one thing that I know that JIIPCC taught me is how to work as a team. Teamwork is it's something that I really struggle with because I'm a lone ranger and I like doing things a certain way. But JIIPCC taught me how to like cooperate with others, work with people. And, because we all have different ideas. And when we put the ideas together, we make magic. So I just want to say thank you to JIIPCC, thank you to the mentors, and I'll definitely be coming back for another course. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Folakemi. Indeed, teamwork makes the dream work. Yes, I love that fact. When we come together, we can create magic. That's what JIIPCC is all about. Creating a network of, I would say, intellectual magicians. Okay, I'll be taking a few more mentees and I'll be rounding off in no time. Please, Chuku Precious, the floor is yours again. And any mentee who wishes to say something kindly, sorry, Precious, any mentee who wishes to say something kindly signify quickly so that we can have you on our count because we're running off this session in no time. Thank you. Precious, please carry on.
Okay. My name is Chuku Precious, and I'm a recent graduate of law. I actually saw this opportunity in my class group chat, and I applied and I opted for artificial intelligence. I've been hearing about artificial intelligence as a recent development in tech, and I've always wanted to know more about it. And I bless God for JIIPCC that came my way and gave me that opportunity. The class was really interesting. Everything was broken down. I also appreciated the fact that the method that they chose in bringing this knowledge to us, the mentors, they were very open and they were explaining everything to the least. It's really interesting. So I'm already prescribing this class for most of my friends. I'm sure the next time they'll join. It's really an interesting one. So thank you, JIIPCC. Thank you. I'll be glad joining next time. Thank you all. That's all.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Precious. Thank you. And of course, we'll be willing to have you again in the program. Okay. Obuche, the floor is yours, please. I think that's Edward. Please, the floor is yours. Hello. Obuche Edward.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, sir. So I am Oguche Edward Oche, currently a bar aspirant. I'm in law school, Nigerian Law School, Port Harcourt campus.
Oh.
I started JIIPCC. I saw it on your platform. Yes. So I just registered because I really didn't know what to expect and what not to expect. So I just had an open mind.
Can you repeat that one more time? Can you repeat that the last thing you said when you saw it again?
Yes, I didn't know what to expect or what not to expect in the whole program. So I just had an open mind to wanting to learn and wanting to grow. So I registered for the program, and then I remembered we had a conversation where I reached out to you and you were like, can I be able to run the two things together? And I was like, by God, I'll be able to. And that period was a very trying period for me because it was during the period of our externship program. And then I happened to just find a way to fix the whole thing in my schedule. And I was like, wow, so this thing I could really accomplish it. And I think not until the 4th or 5th week where my phone got missing, I was following it back to back. And then one of the things I learned from JIIPCC is consistency. Because I think for a couple of periods, I was able to learn how to create PowerPoint slides, which I have never done in my life before. And somebody just sent me the sample, and then I started working, and then I discovered that this tech thing is really an in thing. So I just decided to put my head down, learn it, and then now I have grown. I will tell you the truth, I've grown. I might not be where I want to be as a mentor, but then I know that as a mentee, I derived a whole lot of satisfaction from what JIIPCC gave to me. And for that, I am really grateful to you and to the whole team of mentors and mentees alike. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Okay, go ahead.
Please, before we have a on the call, Mr. Samuel Abu.
Okay. No problem, sir. Samuel, sir, sorry, so sorry. Please, guys, we have my mentor. I thought we continue with the mentees. Please carry on, sir. You're welcome.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, God's love. Thank you, Usain, for putting me on this spot. I just wanted to sleep in and sleep out. I've been enjoying the session so far. I'm sorry I might not be able to put out the video quite indisposed for a while, but I figured since I got the invite, I had to be here. So first off, I want to say thank you to JIIPCC for the opportunity. And yes, I also started up as a mentee, just like Chukwurat mentioned. And of course, in the IP space, you really don't know everything. To be fair, if you've been read on copyright about X content, you've been read on WIPO materials, you still have to learn. So I think for me, I'll just reiterate what other mentors have said, because I'm also still learning. Build your network, sustain your network, very important. And in fact, one primary example I'll give about this was in the course of, I think 2 months ago, I had to visit the Brigadier General at his office, and he made a statement. It was like, Sam, would you believe that your mom met me at this place 20 years ago when she was working for a bank? And guess who told me where to meet the Brigadier General? That was my mom. And I thought about it and I was like, so you guys have maintained a professional relationship for the past 20 years? He said, yes. Like, what else is there? And it's not because you have to always score every time, but you just have to realize the fact that everyone is human. Apart from the role that they play in whatever industry they are, because he's a military person, she is a corporate banker person, right? But 20 years corporate relationship, I was like, okay, you know what? I think I have to do better in that regard. So talking about what Mr. Gabriel has said, that Mr. Udas has mentioned, right? Build the professional network is very key. You tend to meet guys that you build something with. As a lawyer, you want to meet tech guys, you want to meet creatives, do that. It's very good because in the long run, these are people that will be your network. And just me joking this saying, but sometimes in the future, I want to consider, I can recommend one or two persons to you. Maybe you have a cousin or a nephew that needs to get into a particular role. Yeah, but the idea is just you build network and you do that because of the value you can offer, right? You offer value, you give value out, you get value in return. And secondly, what I'll say about that is, at least for me, now, right? One of the first steps I do is I sieve out the kind of people I follow on LinkedIn. Sometimes I can be so. I think when I was in my final year, I'll go on LinkedIn and I'll just shoot an invite to the likes of Dangote and Bezos. The worst thing is that they will not accept my invite there, but okay. I mean, I'll take an invite to what's this guy, the owners of these big tech companies. I'll shoot an invite to creatives in the space, right? I mean, the worst thing is that they will not accept, but sometimes they might accept, right? And that's the boldness you need to have when it comes to going out there, seizing relationships and holding on to it. But what Chukwu also mentioned about growth, you have to be there, take your time to study, take your time to learn. And someone mentioned something. There's someone that's currently, in NLS and talking about how you're not so sure of, where you want to operate and stuff. I think it's fine. In fact, for me, I'd always told myself that, okay, I was going to do tech law and IP law and data protection and all of those things. But what then I figured was, as I began to, operate within these spaces, and I began to see the intertwined relationship between other areas of law and where I was looking at. So I think I've given this example so many times. If you're the person, and most people don't like company law, some people enjoy it. But back then I knew it. I was in like final year students, asking a lot of final year students, company law was that one course that, let's just get this done and leave this school, right? But again, when I began practicing and I saw that, fine, I might understand the IP principles with respect to technology, I might understand the business relationship and all of those things. But if you have a startup that wants to operate in Nigeria, all right, how would they operate in Nigeria if they're not a registered company? So your knowledge of company law has to come into place. You're looking at, if they want to make investment, how would you work on the company structuring, the flips, the shareholder agreement? So your company knowledge has to come into place. So eventually, I then had to start reading up on company laws and applying it, right? Your startup wants to employ people. That's why your labor law comes into place. So for someone that didn't do labor law as an elective, eventually I had to go back and say, okay, you know what, my startup needs to hire labor. They need to hire people with good hands. What does the law protect them from? How does the law protect them? You begin to go into, how the law protects them, the structures that have to be in place with respect to statutory payments, pension, training funds, your taxes, the leave period you can give, maternity leave, etc. The interest in the IP space and the tech space also drives you to those things. So for what it's worth, if you like a particular area, right, let the passion for that area or what you enjoy drive you to learn more about other incidental areas. You get, so from my simple interest in IP, I delved into a whole array of technology contracts. From there, I was in data protection, delved into the area of privacy laws. From there, I delved into startup advisories, valuations and cap tables and all of those things. And from there, I delved into the venture capital space, private equity, venture deals, you get? So it's about finding your passion and not limiting the, you know, the knowledge that you're willing to get. But for what it's worth, I'm just so glad that everyone, has started that journey of getting knowledge. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with the very first step. And, as you take the step, don't be afraid to branch into other areas and explore other areas of law that you may enjoy. With respect to what you've learned, you can also leverage, like what Gustav said, leverage your LinkedIn, write. But the most important thing is that you're not just writing, you're doing the work. I remember the first time I had to, so currently I'm in a games company, but before then I was in a law firm that was tech oriented, and some of the things that I had to put in there, because I was coming in from a litigation firm into a tech law, into a commercial firm, right? Most of the things that I hinged on my CV were basically things I learned on my own, and the volunteer works I've done with respect to tech contracts, the conferences I've gone to, the community I've met. So you just want to make sure that you take those chances. I mean, we're still young, we're always still young, and we're always taking our time to learn. So I mean, learn, keep learning, and do the work. And as you do the work, talk about it, do it. So by the time I was going into the games industry, it was even the code email. It was crazy. It was a code email, and all I did was I was able to relate, right, how I can bring in IP into the games industry. And let me tell you, for one, it will blow your mind. It will blow your mind. IP is just cuts across all industries. Whatever industry it is, IP is there. IP is there. Whatever industry it is, IP is there. Will always be there, right? So that's the beauty of learning as much as you can, doing the work, because even when you're talking about it, you need to see proof. You don't want to explain without evidence, right? So your evidence is the work that you've done. So, and I wish you guys all the best, as you go on with it. Don't be afraid to learn. I'll leave you with one final quote. And this was something that has always pushed me to try out everything I can to learn. I think it was by Zig Ziglar, and he says something about, I'll just paraphrase. He says something about the fact that when you're a young person and you're going through life, don't go through life linearly, in a linear form, right? But try to be a whirlwind. And whirlwinds are like, they're like tornado storms, right? They're kind of erratic, but they still have a straight path to go. So how will I explain it? It's like saying, I mean, if you're in the tech industry, in addition to trying to understand everything you can, right, with respect to that part you're towing, because again, you don't want to be rigid. You want to open up yourself to learn more. So you have what you're going to. You have an idea of the kind of lawyer you want to be. You have an idea of the kind of practice you want to have. And as that guides you, that also opens up your eyes, your eyes. So it opens up your eyes to opportunities to learn, right? Important details along the line. So thank you very much, JIIPCC, for this opportunity. I'm glad to be here, and I wish everyone the very best. Thank you. I also extend gratitude to the mentors that have spoken today. It was great learning from everyone as well. And for the mentees, again, I wish you all the best. This is just the starting point, right? I mean, the sky is the beginning. I think I'll put it that way. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Okay, we have just a few minutes to go. We could think about 2 mentees who wish to say something. Please, let's leverage on the knowledge we're getting from this. Other mentees who wish to say something so we can round off the session. It's been a very, very long one. After now, the item 7 will be shared. Yes. Kindly move into any kitchen of your choice and pick up something from the kitchen. Nobody will shout at you. Oh, okay. That's working. I think Mr. Hussein, our next closing ceremony.
Yeah, come on, chicken pie.
Next closing ceremony, everyone should have a drink at their house from their location. Let's make that work. Okay, is there any mentee who's willing to speak before we call our amazing father on the call to give us a closing remark? Okay, Babajide Adams, the floor is yours, please.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Oh no, can someone else hear him, please? Because I can't hear him.
I think we lost.
I'm a legal practitioner.
Okay.
I enrolled to the artificial intelligence course, and what fascinated me about the program is the quality of the mentors. I'm just wondering in my head how JIIPCC was able to pull these stunts, how JIIPCC is able to collaborate with all the mentors we have. They're all fantastic, and something that something that surprised me most is that they're all the best in their fields. And I like to appreciate Jameson for this well thought out work. Another thing I enjoyed about this program is the idea of the assignments. It kept us on our toes, helped us to research, and we had to have meetings on group levels before we presented during class. And it helped us to do our personal research, helped us to relate with colleagues in the group. It helped me to know some persons and know their wealth of experience as well. And we are all given topics at a point when we don't know much about it, but by the time we're about to present, at least we have a level of understanding about the topic. I kind of give kudos to JIIPCC for this type of learning process that they have inculcated into us. And also, finally, when they asked us to do an article, just think that where do I get the research from? But one way or the other, it helps us to be diligent, to get knowledge. And the whole process has been fantastic. And I didn't know that much of law is related to AI. That's the beautiful part of it. Even though I'm a lawyer, I just wanted something new, something aside law. But lo and behold, law was waiting for me in AI. And so I saw how law relates with AI, so that law, you cannot disassociate law from any field of endeavor. And I could also attest, we could also attest to that in most of the other programs with JIIPCC, there's always a touch of law in it, and makes me to know that, okay, there's always a law aspect of whatever you're doing. So what I want to take from this course is how I can apply law into AI, how it would be beneficial to the law profession, and how I could move it to the next level in my career. So I want to say thank you so much to the founders of JIIPCC. Thank you to the co-founder. Thank you to the faculty for the great job without collecting a dime. I mean, that's what blew my mind. I mean, for this quality deliveries and without collecting anything, I just pray that posterity would speak for you, and we're really grateful for you. Thank you for rising to our call in this generation. Thank you for being a blessing to us, because if we are going to do this kind of course abroad or even here in Nigeria, we're talking about a lot of thousands of naira or even dollars. So we really appreciate you for giving your all to us, and all the faculty were excellent. They gave their best, and I don't know how JIIPCC is rewarding them, but I mean they're stepping their game. So whenever they ask us to create them, I mean, I can only give them the best, because they are giving their all to us. So I want to say thank you so much to everybody. And Mr. Okedara Solomon, I've known him since my university days. Being a great guy. I didn't know he was the faculty for for data protection. I would have joined. But I mean, I have his personal contact, so I'll talk to him. I'm ready to learn from him as well. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Words of wisdom. Thank you so much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's how far we can go on listening to testimonials from the mentees. Before I give my thanks to everyone on the call, I want to welcome someone who is a father to us mentees here at the JIIPCC program. He is one person who you would always see his contributions on your LinkedIn. He's always around. Thank you, sir, for the love, the support, for the care you've shown to us. Ladies and gentlemen, for a closing remark, please make welcome Mr. Obo Joseph. Welcome, sir.
Let me just quickly stop whatever I'm doing right now so that I can fully engage with
sorry.
Yeah. Am I muted? Can you guys hear me?
No, loud and clear, sir. Loud and clear.
Yeah, so I want to say a very big thank you to everyone. One thing that has become clear is that, you know, when a food is very delicious, people don't mind staying up hours to eat that food, you know, so it gives us that very positive feedback that whatsoever we've done here today has actually been very useful to everyone. I want to first and foremost thank all the mentees that, you know, that placed a bet on JIIPCC, you know, because you never really knew what you were coming to expect, but you decided to place that bet. And at the end of the day, we are very happy that everyone was able to get the benefit of the program. And that benefit would not have been possible without the array of mentors. In fact, I call them global mentors because what we've received during this program is, I can say simply that you've gotten what you can definitely get anywhere in the world, basically. If you look at the AI program, we had professors in that program. We had our very own Mr. Gabriel, PhD. We had a lot of very wonderful people in that program. The AI program, the health tech program, in fact, the IP program, all of the programs were really very engaging at the end of the day. I necessarily don't have all the names of all the mentors, but for the ones I was able to capture during today's session. But before I just mention a few names, I want to thank Oluwaseun Badmus, that's our keynote speaker. This is the first time we're actually having like a professional keynote that we've done. I used to do the keynote before now, but I want to concede to the fact that Oluwaseun was excellent. She was very exceptional. And for me personally, I found myself taking a lot of notes, and it was really very useful. And I believe that with all that she said, even if you don't consider yourself good enough, if you just listen to that presentation again, you would find something that you can use to run, you know, further than you could ever have imagined. Special thanks to Professor Samuel Andrews. Special thanks to Mr. Samuel Abu, Mr. Gabriel Udo, Mr. Okeogene. I noticed that Mr. Okeogene, I don't know if he spoke during today's presentation, but he was a senior colleague in Glasgow while we had our master's program. So it was really nice to have him during the program. He actually was a mentee as well. That's during the last session, but I think he came in as a mentor, you know, this period. Mr. Marks, thank you so much. Miriam Hassan, thank you so much. In fact, Miriam Hassan was the one who introduced JIIPCC to Oluwaseun Badmus. So that connection, we found it through one of our mentors. I want to say a very big thank you to you. Mr. Marks Ikongbe, thanks a lot. Shukrat Modukbe, thank you so very much. Juliana says a whole lot about you. And I would say basically that, you know, JIIPCC basically started, you know, JIIPCC started with just one mentee, and right now we've actually crossed the 500 range across over 10 African countries. That would not have been possible without our mentees, our mentors, and of course we can almost say that we are branded. There's so much that will be coming up in Q4. We are hoping that we can introduce certain new things, but we don't have a lot of things, you know, fully sorted out yet. But we are hoping that the program would continue to be better and more useful to everyone. Sorry if I didn't mention your name as a mentor here. It's not deliberate to discredit you in any way. I want to appreciate all our mentors once again. Thank you very much. And before I go, Hussein, Hussein, you can hear me, right? Hussein has been a major support system, a major backbone, a major pillar for what JIIPCC has achieved over the years. I cannot quantify the level of his excellence, the level of his diligence, the level of his forthrightness. You know, he's been exceptional, and it breaks my heart to say that this might be the last JIIPCC session that Hussein would be supervising as our programs director, because Hussein is proceeding for his master's by the special grace of God. It's an emotional one. I don't know who can do what Hussein does the way he does it. So I would just want each and every one of us to just appreciate Hussein in the best way that you can, in any way that you can. You can reach out to him on LinkedIn. Just appreciate the good work that Hussein has done for this very program. It would have been nice if Juliana were here to do this by herself, but of course, I'm standing in her stead. Her shoes are very big. I'm doing the best I can to step into those shoes. Thank you so very much, Mr. Hussein. We are extremely grateful at JIIPCC. I didn't want this to be something done behind closed doors. The individuals you have interfaced with, persons you have networked with, people that you have carried along throughout the programs for the past couple of years, you've been extremely exceptional. Thank you so much. And I pray that God is going to give you helpers as you move on. This is not a preaching, but I feel that this is necessary to do, because we would not make the kind of impact that we've made so far without the help of Hussein pulling this program throughout the nights, you know, it can be very stressful sometimes to really engage and put the program in proper perspective. But I don't know how Hussein actually did it. And we are extremely grateful as JIIPCC, and we appreciate you immensely and greatly. Thank you so very much, Hussein. So thank you, everyone else. I don't want to get to that place where, you know, I might begin to feel a bit emotional about this, but finally, thank you, Kamalo, as well. Kamalo is like a brother now. I've met a whole lot of persons from this program that I network with, and I'm very grateful. Thank you, everyone, indeed. So I will be handing this back to Mr. Goslov to help us to wrap this up finally. Thank you, everyone. God bless you.
Quickly, sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry to correct Mr. Joe. Hussein is not gone. Hussein is just one leg out, one leg in. So Hussein is not gone.
Yes, okay, no, but that's really emotional. It's please, this one leg. Anyway, wherever you're in the world, we'll hold on to you. Please, I want to take responsibility for this. One of our mentors was missed out earlier. I'll just give him a few minutes to just say something to the mentees. Please, Mr. Okeogene, please, sir, we're really sorry for that exclusion, and we wish to hear from you, sir. Really, really sorry about that. It's like, if you're on the call, over to you, please, sir.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. I think it was not necessary again. I don't think you made any mistake. I mean, it's not everybody that must speak here. I've listened to everybody keenly, and I think that JIIPCC has become a miracle, a magic, right? I don't know how to say it, and I want to commend Joseph and his wife for putting this through. I've just watched the magic unfold. We have a lot of conversations behind the scene on how things are unfolding, and I'm so happy. One of the things I see on this platform very clearly is the fact that the Nigerian educational system doesn't prepare the young ones well enough with today's knowledge. And this is what I told Joseph behind the scene, to say that we must do this. This is our calling, because our curricula, they are obsolete. I mean, just imagine someone in law school saying, I've not been able to try this out, and I've not been able to try this. I have an engineering background, core engineering, oil and gas, right? But I enjoy sitting here again, the cross-pollination of ideas I've learned from here, and the entire mentors, Badmos's call today. I mean, we're just a reminder to all of us of things we know, but we might have taken for granted already. So this is a place to be. I have ideas of how to push JIIPCC to the next level. And I'll give that support. I'll push as much as possible. So not pushing because I want people to know about the program, but pushing that we want our people and the young one emancipated so we can be at par with some of the nations of the world and where we ought to be. Joseph know where we met and what we learned within those places. And we felt that we needed to come back to Nigeria to teach our young people and let them so that they have this hunger for knowledge. And I see it on this call. I see undergraduates, year 2, year 3, they talk and they take presentations. These are things that hardly happens in our general universities. And these are the core skills that put professionals on top where they get to. I shared with Joseph also how I cry in the engineering field, what I see in the industry today, and what is being taught. I watched the curricula and I cried, and I really commend him and his wife for what they have done. So once more, I want to also thank all the mentees for the hunger. I mean, for placing that bet on JIIPCC, right? I know when we had that energy call, when I mentored, I know it was fire on the mountain. We had to, pull things from the industry to educate the minds of the young one. There is no scarcity anywhere. There is no lack of anything anywhere. It is just because our minds cannot see it. That's why we cannot achieve it. And this place is for unlocking of ideas on things. I mean, see how people talk about intellectual properties. It's just something on the floor that we, even Nigeria, we don't even know the value. But see how JIIPCC have been able to unlock it, and people are already benefiting from this. I mean, somebody is going to have a pension plan from it. I mean, that is a lot. So I don't want to go too much, but just to appreciate JIIPCC for all what they have done, the mentors and everyone for being a part of this. Let's not forget, we have that mandate to spread the news, to take it out so everybody knows that this is what happens. So everyone can pick up and take what they need. It's just like the communion. When you taste of it, you're wrong with it. And I believe that's what this call stands for. I appreciate Joseph. I want to thank you so much for heeding to this call. And this is only the beginning. Many more will come. You can't even imagine what will come again. And also to mention Joseph, just in case you don't know, I was a mentee the last time. Now I'm a mentee and mentor. In the next one, I've also registered for the next one here to the last Q4 to also be a mentee and a mentor, because just to sound to you that it's not just because we are coming to share our knowledge as mentors, but we're also learning as mentees, being in that classroom already and also picking a thing or two. So well done. And also thanks to the moderator for handling this. You're doing a good job. You were here the last time as well. You were in the closing out ceremony and also today. So like they say, you're a hype man, and I enjoy what you do. Keep it up, eh? Well done. And to my Hussein, that is, I heard he was going, but I mean, I like the way you put it, one leg in, one leg out. You never leave anywhere you have been. I've had 6 or 7 employers in my entire life. Till tomorrow, I can walk in. In short, some of the gigs I'm doing today, my former employees always look for me because I've been able to create a brand and to create a niche. So Hussein, I believe you are not gone, because whoever is going to take your shoes, they need to know what you have done. And I believe you will not want to miss this. This is a huge opportunity that will give you visibility in the entire world. This is 7 African countries we talked about. I believe you will take it to Europe or wherever you are going to, and then more people get to know about it. It's a place to be. It's a place to be. Well done, everyone.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. It was really an honor listening to you speak. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, this is another emotional part because we've officially come to the end of the 3rd quarter of the JIIPCC Internship and Mentorship Program for 2023. Thank you so much to our mentors. Thank you to our mentees. Mr. Hussein, thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Joseph. Thank you to the entire management team of the JIIPCC Internship and Mentorship Program. God bless you. At this point, I want to say have a wonderful afternoon and have a great weekend. Do have a wonderful time and see you next quarter. Spread the word, spread the news. And next quarter, let's beat over 500 in one particular quarter. Have a wonderful afternoon, have a wonderful weekend. My name is Goslov Kamalani, and goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, sir.
All right, bye. I will say in cheers, eh?
Bye, everyone.